All right, okay. I think that we are live. What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Chibi Girls Attempt to Read. I am your host, the Chestnuts Tanuki, and clearly we have a wide cast of characters today, and one of them is hidden because I wasn't able to fit him in. But the first person I'm going to introduce is Fizo. You guys know him. He does work to get us the chapters out early, so we appreciate you. Fizo, go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Fiso. I'm currently this anime avatar here, and
We can hear you.
Oh,
Geo, mute
am I
yourself.
annoying?
We can hear the stream, Geo.
Oh, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Hold up.
I was thinking like, oh my goodness, am I hearing voices in my head?
No, bro,
I'm
it's
sorry.
it's Geo.
Is it good now?
Yeah, it's good. It's good. All right, keep
Where
going,
is that
Fizo.
voice coming from? What's going on? Yeah, I'm Fiso. You can find me on YouTube as Mega Fiso. I'm starting to make One Piece content, and I work on various scanlations and other things. And yeah, I'm just here to provide insight and react with my friends. So yeah, thanks for having me.
Of course. And our next guest, I guess, requires no introduction, considering that he continues to have audio issues. Give it up for the man, the myth, the Twitter legend, Geo. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Cool.
Thank you for being here.
We love Geo. We love Geo. And
Love it.
we have our final guest, somebody who is a regular here on the Tanuki channel. The wonderful Ohime Tenchi. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Thank you, Hime. As you guys may know, all already know, very excited for this chapter. Very, very excited.
Yeah, and that is pretty much it for introductions. I'm just gonna fix this manga thing really quickly so that we have more of this page. Yeah. Otherwise, I think that we are kind of ready to get going with this. Anybody else have anything to say before we get a move on?
Not really.
Cool.
Oh wait,
Peace.
Yeah, I'm just excited to get into it.
Yeah, this is one hell of a chapter.
I just want to say, how did the last chapter exactly end? I forgot, like the last thing that happened.
The crew died. It's really sad.
Whoa!
Wait, the Kurt, what?
No. He was lying. He was lying.
I couldn't even hear what
it
he
was
said.
it was Shamrock. It was Shamrock.
With
Shamrock. Okay, yeah. Shamrock against. Oh wait, Gunko against Loki and stuff. Okay, I remember now. Cool.
Yes.
Cool. Yes, we can.
So yeah, so I guess I'll be the one to start first. So the chapter starts off. We have chapter 1138, HARLEY. And obviously we have Who's Who on the cover page. I don't know if it was obvious last chapter, but it should have been. So we got Who's Who, a couple of the Beast Pirates, and it seems like he's running things now. Pretty interesting. I do like that they kind of have like the CP0 like eye thing there. That's kind of interesting. Also, we have a $10 super chat from Maro Mera saying W stream. Thank you so much, my dude. I super appreciate it. And if you guys also agree with Maro and like this stream, leave a like down below and keep commenting because it does help with the algorithm. And also, what's up, everybody in the chat? Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful day. I am excited for this chapter. I really haven't been spoiled too much, so I guess it's time to get right back into it. So
Just to say, I love how he drew the cover art page. It reminds me, like, I don't know why he reminds me of the flamingo here. I really like the art of the cover page. It's very rare for me to say this, by the way.
Listen, bro, we're gonna get some
think-
more boring Yamato stuff soon, so don't be too hype.
I think
Yamato
we
is
can
not
all
inside of the
agree.
cover page. at
This
least.
Yamato cover page, cover story has been absolutely peak. Can we all agree on this?
The
Is it
Where's
April
going?
1st and I'm not like. I don't know. I guess everybody has.
What?
different-
Do you not like it, Hime?
Okay, no, I love this cover art page, but I am getting sick of like the Yamato
The
turned
cover story?
left. Yamato went to eat. Yamato threw stones. Yamato. You know, it's just like, okay, can we get Yamato fighting someone, or can we get Yamato like, I don't know, going on an adventure, like, you know?
I am
Yeah,
a
I think-
generational Yamato
Yeah.
hater.
Even Otama, Otama had a
Really?
greater feat than Yamato on these cover pages.
Yeah,
be
I
honest.
love
I know you
I
girls
love
hate it, but
Yamato.
like
No, I don't
I
hate
will
Yamato. I love Yamato.
I hate
I just don't like
Yamato.
the cover art pages. Me, it's the
look.
cover art pages.
I'll just say I was there when the Karubu cover story was weekly, so I know true pain. And this isn't too bad. I expect there to be some big reveal by the end. Like
I
at the moment,
hope
it's just fluff.
it better be like Blackbeard coming on Wano or something.
Yeah, like
I don't know, it would be
Blackbeard taking out
crazy.
Yamato would be sick. Blackbeard
That would
killing
never
Yamato
happen.
would be
That's what I'm
great.
saying because the is Pluton there? Like that, I'm
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
yeah.
confused with
Pluton
that
is
still.
there.
Yeah, so someone maybe I think it would be so cool if Crocodile pulled up, like, because that was always his goal. So like maybe he comes back, like
Oh.
he's gonna
Oh, you mean
actually
the,
accomplish
okay?
what he
So
wants to.
with our Lord and Savior, the man, the myth, the legend, Buggy, future Pirate King. Yes, I would love
Oh
that.
yes, that would be
I would love
awesome.
Why are
that.
you keep adding like every time you say Buggy, you gotta be like the man, the myth, the legend, the future pirate king. Like, why do we keep adding these like titles
Because
to him?
he is,
So
and you know what?
Oh my
And you know
god.
what? It's not enough titles to
All
top
right,
it.
okay.
My Lord and Savior.
There's
Uh,
more.
she cray
But with
cray.
Karibu going to Blackbeard, I think that he's probably the most likely to pull up, or one of his men, because they know that Pluton's there.
Yeah, probably. I mean, honestly, Ora could take so many routes. Like, yeah, it could be both.
It could be. Somebody said that I hate Yamato in the same way that I hate Foxy. That I don't. I actually despise
I
both
don't
of
think
those
so.
characters.
No,
I
no,
hate
no. You
both of
hate
them.
Foxy more.
What?
To be fair, you're right.
Yamato is so
I hate
cool. That's
Foxy.
not.
I hate Foxy. Okay, listen, Gio. Yamato is such a wasted character with a cool design, and that's the only reason that people like them. Like Yamato has no substance to their character. They're annoying, and honestly,
Wow.
you could take Yamato out of Wano, and nothing would change. You could have
No,
somebody
no,
else.
no, no, no,
Yes,
no. Whoa,
absolutely.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
I
Honestly,
had a
That might be an
conversation. I've had
overstatement.
multiple
Who's doing the
conversations.
bomb thing inside of Wano?
Oh
Who's
my
like
god,
the
literally
setting
anybody
off?
else. There's like 7 other characters that could have done that, bro. Like, we have these scabbards being
I can't
bums
stand
doing absolutely nothing so that Yamato's like, give it to one of the scabbards. Like, just give it to one of the scabbards. It's crazy. Have them
Here's the
actually
thing
do
that
something.
here's the thing that
the way
annoys me
Oda
about
was juggling.
Yamato.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that, like, have you ever seen the Road to Laugh Tale stuff that he put out?
Yeah, I've seen
Yeah.
the Road to Laugh Tale.
Yamato is so interesting there in all the cut content.
Yeah, and
There's like
and anywhere but the
there's
manga.
like exactly
Yeah.
everything that was cut out. Like friggin' she has a scene where it's like, oh, I'm so jealous of Momonosuke. They're Odin's true heir. That didn't make it to the manga. Why isn't that there? And like also like this whole backstory where Kaido's men kept calling her young master. I assume because Kaido wanted a male heir and she was annoyed by that. And then she adopted the Odin persona. And I think so many of those like small character beats would have made people like Yamato, but they got cut out.
Yeah, I mean, like, if Yamato was a better character, I'd probably like them, but unfortunately not. MK0 in the chat is saying that he has a theory that Yamato is second dad is Who's Who, and with that, I think I'm gonna move on to the first
Whoa.
page. With that, I think I'm just gonna move on.
Hilarious.
So we get to the first page and we see the aftermath of Loki's defiance, and then we see these ... taking a page out of Dragon's book, huff huff. And we see Loki kind of just sitting there menacingly. And it says, you're the spitting image of red-haired Shanks. Huff. Huff. Did you think I'd just write that off as coincidence? And then we see more dots, bro. ... Nobody likes to talk anymore. And then we see Gunko over here. Mind your business.
Oh my
Watch your
God.
profanity. This matter has nothing to do with you.
Oh my God.
And then we have Loki over here. You're not wrong, but huff. Man, this dude is huffing, bro. He's huffing a
I mean,
lot.
he got like literally beaten up.
Yeah, he's been a punching
Poor
bag
guy.
to be fair.
And on
I
top
feel
of the
sorry
fact
for
that
him.
he keeps getting weakened by the sea stone, I feel bad for him.
Listen, bro,
Plus,
it's
how
like
many years has he been tied up? Like,
6
That's
years.
crazy.
That's insane.
listen, bro.
Oda has to do a really great justification for why the Holy Knights waited so long to come and rescue him.
They
Not
probably
rescue him, but try to recruit him.
they probably
had
were
better
just like
candidates.
not.
Maybe they were waiting.
No, like I think like the big thing is that they probably weren't like making their move like until
No, no,
recently.
but
Like now, like we see
Mm.
that
because of
Garling is
Figureland.
in charge. Like you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
because of Figureland. Yeah,
So
yeah.
like
Because there was enough like Holy Knights, but now that like you know Saturn the bomb died, Figureland took his place. Now they need another Holy Knights. I'm pretty sure that's why.
yeah. So I mean, probably something along those lines. But yeah, definitely got beat up. It's like that Peter Griffin meme where it's like, ooh.
How many
With
Holy
this-
Knights are we assuming there
I think
are, by
there's
the way?
12. No,
There's
is
Oh,
it
from the
ever stated?
shadows.
I
No,
think
it's never stated.
there's a theory that Oda is gonna be influenced by the zodiac signs. I think there's 12 of
Like
those.
12? Oh yeah,
Uh,
I
Yeah,
don't
so
know why
that's
I
what I
always
saw.
thought it was 12 too. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that because we already have the zodiac thing with all the admirals, right? Because we've got.
Maybe 12 like
Oh,
12
that's
apostles?
aren't those like Chinese zodiacs though, and not like
Oh, that might be true.
I think that the admirals are based off of like Chinese zodiacs, where it's like the year of the monkey, the year of the dragon, the year of the
Yeah,
bull, like stuff like that.
definitely.
Because
Definitely.
we have like Kizaru, who's like the yellow monkey, and then we have like the red dog, and it's like I think it's those where it's like the holy knights could be based off of like I don't know, like fairy tale,
Just
like
I
Scorpio,
think
Scorpius.
the 12 apostles, like it could make sense because
I've
like all this like religious thing.
I've made a
Yeah,
theory about how I've made my theories. People know the
I
12
mean,
tribes
we've
of
got like
Israel.
one of the friggin' Gorosei is called Peter, so like Odo's definitely looking into Christian mythology.
Exactly, like definitely, bro. Like all the girls are saints something. Like so
That is
obvious.
true.
Yeah.
But we do have a super chat, $2 from Terrence Matthew. Thanks, Terrence. I appreciate you, bro. Saying Yamato is both awesome and fine. Stop hating Chestnut Tanuki. Unfortunately, I am a generational hater. There is no stopping my hating. I will hate anything and everything. That's game. uh
Alrighty.
So let me continue on. So it says, a great pirate and celestial dragon. They're polar opposites. You can't blame me for being curious. Anyone would find it strange that you two share the same face. And then we have like a couple dots and an exclamation point. I'm assuming it's for dramatic suspense.
Effect.
Yeah. Whoa. He just has like a crazy emotion on his face. And then it says, the pirate you're referring to is my younger twin. He went astray. Yes! Twin theory! Haha!
Of course. Yo, of course, bro.
Amazing.
Of course.
So,
Amazing.
so scared it was gonna be a clone, bro. So, there was a
Oh,
teeny
I know
tiny
it
bit.
wasn't.
Oh,
All that knows when to
I
stop a gimmick.
thank God.
I
No.
think that the clone was super unlikely because
Yeah.
Punk was recruited by the world government after Roger got shanked. At
Yeah, I
geez,
mean,
Yeah,
when was that?
but people-
That was
Or
But
he
Gun
could
Valley,
have
right?
still gotten the DNA at some point somewhere, and like
Mm,
that could have like they could have still found an explanation. But I'm happy it's not that as well.
me too.
mm.
So it says, my younger twin went astray. At one point, he did return to the Holy Land, but it seemed he grew too attached to the filthy world of the surface. What? Yo, that's
I
actually
love that
insane.
because it means that like even though he knows like his roots and he came back and saw how it was, he's like, nah, I'm not fine to do this shit. He reminds me a bit of Sabo, where like Sabo knows what the wealth is and he still chose to get out of there.
That's
Yeah,
actually
exactly.
crazy. That's
Or even Doflamingo's family, you know, like also did the same thing.
he
It
did
does seem a bit
return.
sketch, though, right? That he returned at all. I mean, you don't need to go to Marijoa to know that the world nobles are scum, right?
Yeah,
but
I
you
wonder
would
if it was
still
when he was
want to
younger.
go back and meet your family, you know, because like I would still want to go see my family again just to see, you know, it's still your family at the end of the day. But he probably
Mhm.
went there. He was like, "Y'all are just disgusting, like
Yep.
as disgusting as I
Yeah.
thought you guys were," and just
I
Yeah, exactly
actually-
what I expected.
I actually have a theory. So I think
Go for it.
that we now know that what Roger told Shanks is that he's like, just so you know, you're a celestial dragon. And that's what he told him, right? That's why
Before he
Shanks
gave him the hat.
before he gave him so like yeah, like and when Roger and Shanks are like departing and we see that Shanks is holding on to Roger crying, right? And it's probably because that's what he told him. He then tells Buggy, I'm not going after the One Piece. Probably because he knew that he was going to be
Oh.
going back to the Holy Land at some point to go meet up, and he wanted to basically see like who do I really have these allegiance to, like what do I actually feel. So
he was
he
so young though
so
at that
yeah,
time.
so hear me out. So he goes back and he looks, and because he's so young, they were about to be like open arms, like oh my gosh, and then he's like, y'all are scum, like y'all are terrible, no, and leaves. And so he
But
could have,
how did he?
I
because he
think
How
he's
did he
because
cooking.
stay?
what
I
do you
think he's
mean?
cooking because Doflamingo made it all the way to Marijua from some random place in the North Blue when he was like 10, so
Yeah,
it's doable.
yeah, but
And
what I
when Shanks was 13, he did like there was a pause between Roger's execution and him going to recruit Yasop and all the red hairs. So maybe that it is in that gap that he
that's
went.
fine, but what I mean is that like me, if I was like a figureland, like like a head of family, whatever, I see Shanks coming back, like my son. Even if he doesn't want to become a soldier dragon or like come back to this life, I would kill him. I wouldn't let him like go and free roam this world. Like how did he? I'm pretty sure like Shanks
Why
had
would
to
they do
escape
that? No, I don't think so.
because
That doesn't make any sense.
why would he want his son to be against him?
Because
Well, they
it,
let Dofi do it.
yeah, like Doflamingo was doing basically the same thing, and like they don't really care. It's basically like once you're outside and once you choose, like they just let you out, and like you're the enemy then. So it's like it's not like he
Yeah.
would have.
Even if it's big I thought that the big families maybe it would be different.
No, but also you have to remember that Shanks is like already an established like he was strong on Roger's crew. Like he wasn't like crazy strong, but
I
like
mean, he was
this is
13 though.
but
You
it doesn't.
guys are saying.
I mean, we actually don't know like his exact age on like when Roger's crew eventually disbanded and broke up, and we had like he goes to the Mary Joie. Like we don't know his exact days when he's at Mary Joie and when he leaves, right? So you don't know if he's 13 or if he's in his 20s. We don't know if he stayed there for a while or not. But regardless, it says he returned to the Holy Land, but it seemed he grew too attached to the filth of the surface. We don't know if he went there, stayed there for a bit, realized it was garbage, and then left. You know what I mean? And it's like by the time that he's 16 to 17, that's Luffy's age, and Luffy's already going against the world government, so what's the difference? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But who do you think told him about his lineage?
I just
Like,
said
do you think
Roger.
Rogers? Okay, but that's the thing. Like them, but like, how did he end up? Okay, so now that's the flashback we need. We need to understand how he ended up in the treasure box. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking that it's his mom that put him in there, and his mom got like killed
Ooh.
because of it.
Yeah, it could
I
be.
Could be
think
that.
it's
See
a
that.
Sora situation where the mother knew that the father was a monster and tried to
Yeah,
hide one of the twins.
I
It's
think
like
that's
the
what.
Yeah,
Moses
you got one
situation.
of
But
them.
it's like
Yeah,
Moses
yeah,
put the
yeah,
baby in the basket and throw it downstream.
Yep. And
yeah, definitely.
I think it's something like that. But I think that we kind of have confirmation. That's what Roger told Shanks, and I think that Shanks, like especially at such a young age, like that's why he's like, I'm not going after the One Piece. That's why he told Buggy to go away because he's like, I need to really figure out who I am and what I am. And it's like he could have went there. And then also the other thing is, it's like the way that he's talking about Shanks here, like Shamrock. It's like it's my younger twin. He went astray. He's not saying like he's a dirty betrayer or he's a traitor, right? It's
He got
he
like
went
brainwashed,
he
manipulated,
went
probably.
astray, like to the point where it's like perhaps we could at some point bring him back. Also very similar language to the Bible if you really think about it. When you sin, you go astray. You don't like you're not a traitor to God, right? Like you go astray and eventually the sheep can be brought back. Which is probably why they wouldn't want to kill him. And it's also probably why Shanks is held in such high regard in the world government. So very interesting language that we're using here. I don't know, Fizo, if you guys did that on purpose or if that's just what the Oda used, but very interesting.
No, he did use like he's lost. He went astray. It is definitely
The
that kind
lost,
of
yeah,
language. Like,
the lost sheep, bro. The lot.
yeah.
Wait, Fizo, you translate this?
I'm the editor, so I wrote this dialogue based on the raw translation. I worked with the initial scripting. Basically, I worked
Oh
with the
wow.
translators to make sure that it was intelligible.
I didn't even know that. Holy smokes. So you're a TCB gang.
Part time, yeah.
Part time.
Okay. That's
Uh,
cool.
Also, really quickly before I continue, we have one gifted membership from the Chemist. Chemist, thank you so much. I super appreciate you, dude. You're always here supporting us. Shout out to the Chemist, man.
Yes. Shout out.
But
Okay.
let me just finish up this page. I got one more, and then we will switch to. Do you want to do me, Hime, Fizo, Geo, or do I want to do it in the order where I have me, Fizo, Hime, Geo? Because that's how I see it on my Discord.
I don't care. Up to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, however's fine.
All right. I'll probably just go in order then, so that I make sure that I'm keeping things a hundo. So
Yeah.
then we have here, it says, he returned? Huff. It's funny to see how he ended up hating both of you, how I ended up hating both of you brothers. And I thought my grudge couldn't get any worse. What a family. Huff, huff, you bastards. When I get out of these chains, it says, you know what?
I can't wait.
You
Free
know,
Loki.
you know what I'll do, right? Huff, ha, ha. I'll make it my mission to make sure my buddies are avenged. Was that supposed to be a threat? Captain, ooh, Captain. You don't have to. I know. He isn't worth getting my hands dirty over. Isn't that right, Cerberus?
Wait, hold on.
Sword devil fruit.
Hold
I
on.
love it. I love it.
Hey,
Hold on. I know Vision somewhere very happy right now.
Oh my god, another
Harley's
funk fruit,
queen.
bro. I
Oh my-
love the sword devil fruits. They're so cool. Like a sword that eats a
Me
devil fruit
too.
is so cool.
but does this
But that-
technically
So
get him
rare,
out
too.
of being a swordsman? Does he get excluded from the swordsman debate now?
That's a. I guess you're still supposed to
Mm.
because he's the one who's controlling the sword. But
Yeah.
my big question here is, how far can he control the sword? Because I know that a lot of people are like, well, Conqueror's Hockey can control animals, but like this is a devil fruit. Like even if it's an animal, like you're controlling like not just the sword, but the devil fruit. Like does it have a mind of its own? Like how does that work? I'm very.
That's what I'm wondering too.
I think it has a mind of its own because if you remember back in the end of Wano, when they're discussing the Gomu Gomu fruit, they say
Yeah.
it was avoiding them, and we got the impression that zones have like a spirit as opposed
Yeah.
to other devil fruits.
I would think it has a mind of its own, like the sword can get mad or whatever, can do whatever it wants, but Shamrock can still with his conquest probably
Mm.
control it to a certain point, and he feeds it his hockey probably. That's how I
Ooh,
see
that's
it.
so
That'd be
interesting.
interesting. I would
Yeah,
like that a lot.
Yeah,
If
we
I think
never
he
really
feeds it.
seen.
Yeah, a bit like
Oh,
how
that's
Enma
actually really cool, you know.
was taking the life force of Zoro, like his hockey. Like I think it's a bit the same thing. But I wonder, is that a black blade or not? Is that just a
Ooh,
normal
that
blade?
would be so interesting. I think
Because
it looks like it's
because
normal blade because it has like the white
I
on
wonder.
the
Yeah,
the like
That's
blade.
actually such a cool idea because usually like pouring hockey into a devil fruit thing weakens it, but because it's
Mhm.
also a sword, maybe it's got the properties of both a weapon and a devil fruit, which it would be really cool if you're right.
but
Yeah, that's
and
like doubling up.
is this like the first sword that yeah, this is the first sword that has a devil fruit.
No, it's
But
not.
No,
It's
no,
funk freed. Funk
Spandam,
freed. Funk freed,
Freed,
bro.
yeah,
yeah.
I
the
completely
elephant devil
forgot.
fruit
It's
in
Spandam.
Enies
I mean,
Lobby.
Done.
it's such a it's such a fodder one.
No, the
Yeah,
elephant
so
fruit is
so
so cool. Don't eat, or I think it's actually the giraffe fruit model elephant, isn't it?
This is the
Isn't that what that
is
first.
that
fruit is
what it
called?
is?
Why
Hold up,
is
hold up, hold up,
giraffe
hold
and
up.
then an
No,
Hold
elephant?
on, no,
no,
or
it's
the horse.
not.
Hold up. Give me a second. I think it is the elephant fruit. There's one fruit that's very weird, and it's like
Yeah,
model
yeah.
something.
I know which one you're
You know,
talking about.
it's hold up. I gotta look it up. Hold up.
Like, can you send me a picture or something? Because I totally forgot, bro.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It
Oda
was
does
probably
that.
so irrelevant that my memory just didn't register it.
I believe it was like the giraffe fruit you're thinking of, and it's like the bison fruit or something. But
Yeah, maybe
really,
it
it's
is.
like
Or like the horse fruit. Is that the
yeah,
one it is? Where it's like horse model giraffe or something? I'm gonna go look. That's probably Kaku's
yeah.
devil
But
fruit.
really, I think that was a mistranslation. If I remember right, it was God.
It's just because the
Instead of
animals
being,
don't correlate.
it's
Like,
meant to be like the class of animal, right? But like they use the two literally in the old Viz translation. It's been years since I looked at this.
No, it is.
thank
It
you
is. It's
for
the horse
sharing.
fruit model giraffe. That's what it
Oh
was.
my god.
I was like, one of them is.
Did you guys? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say one of them was very weird. Shout out to Kaku, man. Shout out to Kaku for having
But
the worst devil fruit.
but do you remember this sword having like a mind of its own or something? I
Yeah, it
just
did.
don't remember this sword.
So it
It did?
listened.
Okay,
It
so
listened to its owner, but
okay.
Funkfried like was like kind of being a little sassy with Spandam, if you remember. He was a little sassy elephant. He was like, "Ooh, get him!
This is this is the
Ooh,
first
was he?
Oh,
competent
get him!
swordsman,
Oh,
though.
get him!
Ooh,
I
get
love
him!"
that. I
Yeah.
love that independence. That's interesting.
I love
This is
it.
the first competent like hockey using swordsman with a devil.
Yeah, that's where it's interesting because it's like, what does this mean? Like, I've always wanted to see like a high tier like Conqueror's Hockey user like actually utilize like a fruit that is like eating a devil fruit. Cause like I wonder if he can like tame it or like
Probably
control
with
it
his
more.
probably he has conquerors because how just how we saw Luffy been able to like kind of tame animals with his conquerors. I'm pretty sure it's maybe something similar. Now, Sperendum didn't have conquerors, obviously, but probably his the devil fruit inside of his sword was like again, it was like a low quality devil
Yeah,
fruit.
and it spanned him a bum too, so like
Yeah, yeah,
we didn't
exactly.
even
But
expect anything from him.
this one, like Cerberus, like it's like a mythological like animal. Like it must be hard
Yeah,
to tame. Like I'm pretty sure you have to have like at least like high level of hockey, like Conqueror's hockey, or even maybe advanced Conqueror's hockey to be able to tame it.
So let me
I
so let
do
me
feel
pose this.
bad.
right. Yeah,
Oh, hold up, really quick. Let me pose this question to you guys. So we're always on the topic of black blades all the time because people, for some reason, think that black blades are the end all be all. It is the best type of sword, right? But black blades were the best type of sword before we really got the introduction of mythical Zoan swords, right? Like swords that are able to eat a devil fruit due to the technology that
ooh,
Vegapunk introduced. Would you say that a
true.
black blade is better than a mythical Zoan sword? Yes or no? And I'm gonna go pose that in the
I
chat.
So
I
me
would
first.
say
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I would say it is better to have a black blade, and the reason why is because of what Kaido said when he saw Luffy awaken the most mystical
Ooh,
and legendary mythical devil fruit ever. He basically beat him down and told him, "Your devil fruit might be amazing, but Haki is king," and then he smacked him down. And
Completely
I
agree.
think that
yeah,
with a strong enough amount of hockey, you can cancel out any devil fruit anyway. And
that's true.
also, you
Exactly.
need to have a sword mastery of channeling your hockey, your effort, your will through your blade in order to get to Black Blade. So I think, like, if you had equally strong swordsmen opposing each other, like, I think the hockey makes the difference. Like, I
To be
don't think
fair,
that the devil fruit would.
we still don't know how black blades are made. To be fair, these are all
That's true.
theories. By the
So
way, like saying that it's only hockey is purely theories. Now, it's the most probable answer, but I just want us to remember that these are theories.
so my thing with black blades, right? Because I think that black blades are going to have some sort of weird power, whether it be a special sort of hockey that it's able to emit, due to the fact that we assume that it's mostly hockey. But I do think that it's really interesting to bring up the Kaido thing because Kaido always said like hockey triumphs over all, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Except, right? Except that we know that devil fruits can triumph hockey in certain occasions. And I think that Blackbeard's crew is a really good example of like devil fruits are not just below hockey, right? If you have a crazy devil fruit, like you're gonna win. Because I would say, up into the story so far, Law has arguably better hockey than Blackbeard. We've seen at least Law use more hockey than Blackbeard has, right? And yet Blackbeard was able to effortlessly beat him with the devil fruit. And Law had multiple times been like, like I know how to use hockey, like I know how to do armament and stuff. Like he's obviously very proficient, but it's like that was like a devil fruit battle, right? And it's kind of the same thing where it's like Big Mom has great hockey, right? But her main power, like the main reason that she is so strong is because of her devil fruit. Like she's just able to use it in such interesting ways. And so my thing is, it's like I think that Yoru is the strongest sword, but I think that there is a question of depending on what type of devil fruit you are able to place into a sword, it can reach that level. Like it can be on that level because we always hear like
Hmm.
hockey triumphs overall, except the reason that Kaido lost really wasn't because of Luffy's hockey, it was because of Luffy's devil fruit. Like, even though Bajrank Gun is crazy, like, Bajrank Gun wouldn't exist without hockey. So it's like, and we know that you can infuse your hockey into a devil fruit. So it's like, how strong, especially because we know mythical Zoans are the strongest type of devil fruit, like, how strong is this sword really? So I think it's an interesting question. I would still say that Yoru should be more powerful, but I mean, especially if he's able to infuse hockey into the sword, this may be one of the strongest swords we have seen so far in the series. And it's like we just got introduced to this. Like Funk Freed having hockey in it isn't going to do anything. Cerberus,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
guard of the
nothing.
underworld, a little bit more weight.
Here's my question though. Can if that sword clashes with Yoru, and the dogs are out, do the dogs feel pain? And are they like, okay, I'm not coming
Yes,
back out? Cause like that, I'm like, cause it's a
of course.
sentient.
It's living. It's
Yeah,
a
so
living sword. So yes,
yeah, so I
obviously.
think that
Uh,
it can be like nerfed in that sense, cause it has to clash and it can get hurt,
yeah,
so it
but
might just
the
not
Yeah, what
not want to come
happens
back
yeah,
if
but
out.
like Miho cut off its head? Like, would it just become a normal sword again? Would the devil fruit reincarnate?
Oh, can it
I'm pretty
die?
sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
No,
that's an
can it
no,
interesting
no,
die?
but
question.
no, I don't think that's how it works. I think that you can kill the devil fruit that comes out, but it will still like go back to the sword. You have to destroy the sword. I think that's how I see
Uh,
it. I think you have to destroy the
Mm.
sword
so
completely.
I have a bit of a
Um, but I just want to say my take first.
yeah.
So my take is on like what's stronger, like a devil fruit sword or like mythical zone devil fruit sword or like just a black blade. I would take the black blade not because like only because Haki transcend all, but also because devil fruits are known to have weaknesses. Devil fruits are known to have counter to them. But hockey, for now, there's not really counter to it. Like even no devil fruit can counter hockey. Really, hockey doesn't have like a seawater weakness. It doesn't have any weakness. So that's why I would always go with hockey every time. But I understand your points as well. But yeah, you can go ahead, Fizo.
I'm gonna back up Hime here because I think that one of the main reasons I disagree with you, Chestnut, is you mentioned the Blackbeard pirates are all strong because of devil fruits. I think the point is thematically to contrast Luffy and Blackbeard. I think Blackbeard is ultimately going to lose to Luffy because he's devil fruit dependent, because he takes the shortcuts. He manipulates and schemes and, tricks his way to the top. He doesn't put in the effort. He doesn't make the allies Luffy does. He doesn't go through the grit. He takes a devil fruit and plans and schemes to win. And that's the duplicitous D way. It's not the D which Roger and Joyboy are waiting for. So I think ultimately, thematically, like while we all love devil fruits, right? Thematically, hockey is the core of the series, willpower. So I think no
Mhm.
matter what fruit power Blackbeard or Emo have, Luffy's gonna conquer it with his hockey and willpower, and I think that goes with any fight in the series. So
I would
while
agree,
yeah,
but also like Luffy is only so strong because of his devil fruit, right? And I think that a lot of people will take like the oh well hockey is going to be the end all be all, right? Like hockey is going to be what triumphs everybody else, and
A
it's like
mix is the best.
I
For
would
sure, a
say
mix is the
you
best.
you need it. I think that it's really weird that Luffy is the poster child for hockey, even though he has great hockey, right? When his devil fruit is arguably the strongest in the verse, right? Like Luffy would not
That's
be
the
as strong
God
without
fruit.
his yeah, yeah,
But
but like Luffy would
Yeah,
not
that's just
be
insane.
battling the
somebody
Gorosei with just
else.
his hockey. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
but somebody else with his devil fruit wouldn't be as strong. He's only this strong because he has also amazing
yeah,
Well,
hockey.
yeah,
It's like
because
it's
he's
yeah,
the
a
total
the team
combination.
package.
Luca.
But he like if you
Yeah.
take away Luffy's devil fruit, he is crazy strong, right? But I wouldn't say that Luffy is the strongest ever point
The
blank period without his
I
devil fruit because he
disagree.
just
I think
isn't.
he would
the more
train
you add
differently.
on, listen, it's like a black blade. If you add on a devil fruit to the black blade, it would be stronger than a black blade as well. I
Yeah.
think that when you add on every type of powers, obviously you're gonna be over the top. So
Mm.
like that's why I would say that like Luffy is the whole package because he has not only advanced conquerors, but he also have a crazy ass devil fruit. So if we find ever a character that has a black blade plus a mythical zone inside of his blade, I don't think that man is stoppable. Like you know.
Yeah, that's like top of the line right there. He
Yeah,
got
yeah,
everything.
yeah, like
But I
exactly.
will say I think hockey is more important because look at Roger, right? He beat all of these people.
The Pirate King.
Yeah, he outstripped all of them without any double
As far
fruit.
as we know, we don't. Yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
and he
You're right.
didn't have a devil fruit. But the thing is, you look at Whitebeard too, the man who went toe to toe with Roger, and he had a devil fruit as well. So it's like, and we know that he uses his devil fruit kind of more than he used.
And
I mean,
yeah,
from what we've seen in the series. So it's like that's why it's like for people to say like, oh well, devil fruits are just like it's kind of. I don't. I think that devil fruits and hockey are equal. And I think that that's what the series has been showing us. To every
Yeah.
person who just uses hockey, there's another person that uses devil fruits. Like I think we can all agree that like Rox probably had some sort of devil fruit, right? And that's the contrast where it's like these people they have devil fruit so they're getting automatically like stronger, right? Like if you have a devil fruit you get stronger like automatically because you have this extra power, where it's like people who don't they do, and I would agree like they have to work a little bit harder, but it's like there are certain shelves that you cannot reach with hockey alone that a devil fruit unlocks. And I think that that's the thing where it's like a black blade should be stronger than a devil fruit sword. But like a Cerberus devil fruit sword against somebody who just has a black blade is probably going to win if they're not skilled enough to use it,
So-
right? Like if Luffy had Yoru and Zoro had the Cerberus sword, Zoro is kicking Luffy's tushy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like it depends a lot on like the user, how you use stuff, and it's like how like basically like the power is dispatched to you. If you have a devil fruit in hockey, you're probably going to use the devil fruit more, and that's what we've seen a lot in the series where people will use their devil fruits. Like Kaido wouldn't be as strong with just hockey alone because he has to go into his things so he has that durability boost. And it's like it's like these things that work together. And I think he may said it best where it's like you kind of combine those things. But that's one of the reasons why Blackbeard is going to be
Yeah.
crazy.
So I think that if you could only pick between just devil fruit, no hockey, and just hockey, everybody would take hockey because
Yeah.
like hockey can counter devil fruit. But if you had like if you could have both, like you would absolutely get both. Like absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah.
I
But
agree too.
let's move on to the next couple pages. Fizo, it is your turn.
So we have the three-headed dog bursting out of the sword here, and a nice little tagline,
They
Cerberus.
look like German shepherds.
Yeah, right. I
Also,
like how all of them
Awakened.
have collars. Yeah,
Yo, yeah, the black flames.
it's very interesting. I wonder what it looks like when it's not awakened. But I know a million of Blackbeard theorists have their hearts broken right now because everyone thought that he would have the Cerberus
You know,
fruit because the
But
three
Yeah.
skulls.
yeah, but some people think he has like the not octopus, but like because it has three hearts or something. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
still possible.
But yeah, we get this serious moment where Loki is like, "What the hell is that?" And we see the sword coming out of the dog's mouth, and
Oh my
Loki's
God.
reaction, and Shamrock has the zinger of "It's my biting blade." And just to comment on the Japanese here, he uses the word sword, but it's also a wordplay on dog, the kanji which is used. So we went with
Oh.
biting blade because it's the closest equivalent I could think of. It's basically a skilled blade, but you know.
Oh
Um,
my God.
so we see on the next
Ooh, a
page,
skilled blade.
yeah, we see on the next page, like this thing is just absolutely bonkers. Like,
Crazy, bruh.
yeah, it's like Oda is on full like child fantasy brain, like edgy, like friggin' punk rock band kind of like imagery where we've got like
I love
a
this.
sword on fire, Cerberus sharp like spikes all over, and
That's insane.
yeah.
That's
So wait, I have
even
a question,
crazier.
guys.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have a question, guys. Now that like Shamrock has a devil fruit in his sword, what are the odds that maybe Shanks has one and he's like hiding it, like, and it's like a maybe a griffin for real, like,
That would actually be
and
insane.
Actual griffin.
he never unleashed it. That would be actually crazy. I would
That's
actually love
actually
that.
Pog. That's amazing.
That'd be really
That
cool,
would
And
actually.
we could
that would be
ride that.
why that'd be why Mihawk was like, I can't fight you no more. You got a devil fruit sword now that.
Mihawk's like, that's cheating!
You're not a real swordsman. Yeah, that's cheating. You're not a real swordsman.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not a real swordsman. That's amazing.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I actually really hope that's true.
That'd be hilarious.
Like he loses the arm because he didn't become a Yonko until after he lost the arm. So maybe he
Yeah,
loses
yeah.
She
the
got a
arm. and
crazy
becomes
weapon.
Yeah, yeah. He upgraded his weapon to compensate. Anyway, we see the dog locking eyes with Loki once he like freaks out about it. And Gunko basically forms this like plane thing with her arrow, saying, "Captain, let's clean up here and move out." And we've got Shamrock saying, "Scramble," and he says "scramble" like scrambling a jet in the military.
Oh.
No. So then on the next page we've got the dog. He leaves the he leaves the dog behind, which is pretty funny. And he says "heal," and hops onto Gunko's bird thing, and he says, "Feel free to hunt me down anytime. I'll face you. Then, assuming you survive this." And Loki's like, "Hey, what the hell?"
Wait, so he leaves he leaves the dog behind. That means that the dog can just respawn in his sword, I'm assuming.
I guess it's like a manifestation
Yeah.
of the sword,
So
where it's
so
like,
so so what I said was right, that like it doesn't matter if you kill it because you have to kill the sword.
I presume
Right, that's true.
he's still holding the hilt.
yeah.
I think it's the devil fruit is the blade, and he still holds the hilt, and the dog can
But what I
return to
mean,
the hilt.
no, but what I mean is that he says that like we all know that Loki is gonna survive, but like Shamrock wouldn't let somebody kill his devil fruit completely. He probably does, just like even if you kill the devil fruit like the its physical form like this, it can still like live in the blade. You have to like shatter the blade.
You
I
have,
think.
yeah, you'd have to probably destroy the blade complete, like the
Yeah,
blade and the hilt
exactly.
completely. Like the entire thing would have to
Yeah,
be completely destroyed, is what I'm assuming.
in my yeah, me too.
That was my three
I think
pages,
as
by the way.
well.
Okay, and then it
Okay.
is Hime's turn, and then your last,
Cool.
Gio.
Then all right, and
Okay.
then we have Loki was like, "You've gotta be kidding me!" And then he just sees them leave. And then we have Cerberus with like the sword coming. He's like, "Ruff, ruff!" And Loki's now, "No way! Is that thing? If that thing's get me?" And then we have the three heads coming towards Loki. Those celestial bastard, and they, oh my god, they literally all stabbed
Jesus.
Loki. The three heads stabbed Loki, and you just see Loki screaming, "Damn it all!" And then he's just like, you see blood. Oh my god, I feel so bad.
That's the most brutal damage he's taken, like, up to
Yo,
this point
honestly.
that we've
And then we
seen.
have, yeah, and then we have ShamWow.
Shamwow. I love Shamwow.
ShamWow. He says, "Total subjugation isn't feasible now. Let's start by taking their children hostage. We'll need an extra person." Yo, he's really a celestial
Oh my
giant, isn't he?
god!
I was like, "Oh my god, F them kids, huh?" And then Gunko is like, "Understood. Who shall I call?" All right. West,
So,
yeah. West Castle. Oh, by the way, I need to ask Fizo. Fizo, is this from French? The West?
Our best guess, but like you could also go with Owlist or OS, like Orist, which is what Viz did, I think.
Okay, okay.
You know,
That's a
it's
weird
in
name.
katakana, so there's no like
I
Okay.
thought it
exact
said
sign.
quest
Yeah.
the whole time. I thought it
Yeah,
was
me for
quest.
me, that's how I read it in French. It's West.
The reason why I assumed it is because it's close and like they're in the Western Village right now.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
makes sense.
that's
Yeah.
so that's why I chose it.
Mm.
All right, then we're in the West Castle. I'm telling you, it was red-haired. And then Luffy's like, "Liar! Shanks would never attack for no reason." And he's like, "It's the we just have like back in the castle, Luffy and like the guards and like the giants. It's the truth. I saw him with my own eyes. Red-haired has visited Elbaf many times. I recognize him. But I know Shanks. He's a super cool guy. Maybe it was just someone who looked like him, bro. You know what? You're all on to something, Luffy. It was probably Shamrock. It was shocking. We were wondering what he was
Right.
doing. Yeah, what he was doing in the castle. He just left Elbaf recently, right? Wouldn't it be weird for him to come right back just to skulk around? Yo, how
I
is
swear,
Zoro and Luffy being smart?
I've had
figuring shit
I've had
out.
this exact conversation with like 20 people
Yeah, I
since
was
the
like,
Shanks
what the
appeared in
hell?
Elbaf.
What? I was like,
Everyone
what
was
the hell?
saying the same points. Why would he come back if he just left and stuff?
No, but like,
It's like they're theorists.
no, but for
Right,
real,
yeah.
Zoro and Luffy actually like thinking. I'm very proud of them. Let's go.
They should
Um,
start a YouTube channel.
oh, for real, for real. And then
The show have tires.
yeah, and then Luffy goes, "Even if you're telling the truth, there's no way it could be Shanks. Shanks is always calm and laid back. Him doing something like this just doesn't add up." Nami's like, "Hey, you really have faith in him, huh?" I mean, that's cute. That's very
I
nice.
love their relationship because, like, the red hair pirates were kind of saying the same thing about Shanks. Whenever Shanks was smiling about Luffy, and they're like, "You just can't stop smiling, Captain." When they were like
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about him.
yeah.
They love each other,
Yeah, no,
bro. They're so good.
honestly.
Best father-son duo, bro. Considering that Luffy
Yeah.
doesn't have a father because he's a bum who keeps looking west, bro. Or east.
Do you want to read your super chat or I keep going?
Let me read the super chat really quickly. From Terrence Matthews, another $5 super chat. Thank you so much, dude. He says, funny, a while back, Oda said that if he were to give Zoro a devil fruit, it would be Kaido's fruit, but his sword would eat it. Now we have this, but with 3 swords. Very interesting. I
I
think
think
that
only one of them can have it.
yeah, I think like with swordsmen, it's not worth it to have. Honestly, like a devil fruit weapons basically give you all of the boon of having a devil fruit with none of the downsides, right? Like because
Right, you can still swim.
sea prism doesn't
Mm.
affect you, so it's like honestly
Yeah.
like devil fruit weapons are probably the way of the future where it's like you just have something like devil fruit gauntlets, right? Like each gauntlet has a different devil fruit. You could wield multiple devil fruits at the same time. So
hmm
probably would be the best thing.
But
But it is
I
interesting.
just wonder how you do it. Like, how do you get a sword to eat a
yeah,
devil
I
fruit?
was wondering, how does the sword eat a devil fruit? Like,
I guess we'll never
we
know.
saw, but that's the thing. I don't think it
Vegapunk.
would be a good sword. That's the funny part.
I don't I don't know, bro. Vegapunk a crazy bro. He
Because
Was it
Phantom
him?
Sword is not like a crazy sword. It could be just a bomb sword that eats a devil fruit. But I wonder how it eats it. It's so weird to me.
Yeah. Should I start?
Yeah, I think it's your turn, right?
Yeah. Wait, I'm not done.
Alright,
I have a third.
yeah.
I have a third page.
Oh, you
Does
do?
Global
Yeah,
Spread
yeah,
not
I'm
count?
almost. Yeah,
Hmm?
yeah. I can't. Yeah, I only read 2 pages. Now I have my third one.
Uh,
I'm just gonna finish this one. So here we have. Sorry. Luffy's like, you bet, Shanami. It would tick you off just as much if someone badmouthed Telmer. I'm gonna say it in French. And she's like, it's Belmer, son. So it was a lookalike. That or a brother, maybe. Bro, who is talking? Who is talking? Who is talking?
it's
Who
one
did
of the
say
giants,
that?
I think.
Oh,
I
one
think
of
it's
the
one of the
giants?
beat up giants. They're
Bro,
speculating.
They're on
everybody,
point.
yo,
That's
who,
crazy.
these theorists, and then everybody like Shank's
They
brother.
got
Well,
Shamrock figured out.
yeah. Well, if he has one, he'd probably be a nice guy too. Okay, now you're being naive. And then Luffy's like, but honestly, he never talked about his family. I heard that he was raised on a pirate ship from when he was little. I figured Roger and Rayleigh were his real family, and we just hear step, step. Their whole crew except for Buggy.
Okay, so that's Shiki, right, guys? Like that's Shiki.
No,
That's
I think
Shiki.
R.I.P. Shiki Bros because
Okay,
he's not on the
but I
roster
I
don't
don't
anymore.
know.
Wait, wait,
I
wait, wait, wait.
don't
Hold on.
know.
I'm still stuck. Why did he say except Buggy? That's crazy.
Oh yeah,
He does not like Buggy.
because
Luffy does
Buggy
not
don't.
like Buggy.
But like Buggy doesn't like Shanks. Like in the very beginning of the series, Buggy said like
That's
I
not
hate him. He
true.
literally
Yeah,
told
but
Luffy.
but
Luffy
deep down,
yeah, but Luffy don't know
but
that.
deep down.
Yeah, I mean we know
Okay.
from the audience, but he literally said to Luffy, he's like, I literally hate Shanks. He's like, I hate that man on site with
Oh
that
my
man.
God.
And Luffy's like, well that's crazy.
I
That's
feel like
crazy.
he's like
It's
the
like
he's
Sanji.
like a
It's like Sanji and
tsundere, though.
Zoro. It's like Sanji and Zoro. You know they love each other even though they say they hate each other. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, when did Luffy find out that Shanks was on Roger's crew?
I think Shanks probably told
Ages
him.
ago.
Did he tell him when he was
Oh, wait.
little?
Yeah.
Maybe
There's
yeah.
so much
Maybe Rayleigh
history
also
between
told
them.
him or something. I'm not.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
way back during Sabodi.
Was it during
Probably really.
Sabayoti
Yeah.
that it was Rayleigh who told him? Okay, because I was gonna
Yeah.
say like it would be very funny if Shanks was like, yeah, they're all my family except Buggy.
That's so funny.
If Shanks himself did it.
That would be
Jeez.
funny.
Shanks
Uh,
loves Buggy, by the way.
I think we have to assume that Luffy
He
like
does.
talked to Rayleigh somewhat during the
Yeah, I
year
think
they
so
came together.
too.
Yeah.
I
Similar to like Luffy just growing up with Shanks and him visiting his village. Like he probably knows a lot about him. I look at Luffy as like the Bartolomeo for Shanks. Is that kind of crazy? I feel like he's a big fan of him, like legit.
I mean,
I would say it's very like
It's
not
tough.
nobody.
Maybe
can-
not to the same level, but like
That's tough,
he's
it's
a
tough.
fan.
you a fan?
This to me though buries the Shiki theories actually.
Why is that?
Because we've got a voiceover of Luffy talking about the Roger Pirates and how they're Shanks's family, and during that we've got like the footage being showed under it is this guy approaching Luffy. The implication is this guy's a Roger pirate, right?
So, I mean, it could be,
I
or it
think
could be
so.
somebody who just like hated Roger, like Shiki, and he's just like, you know, I actually hated them ops, but let me tell you what happened.
Okay, I'll tell you
I
why
know
this
he's
isn't
wearing.
Shiki.
But
Go
This
ahead.
isn't Shiki because he's wearing the stupid hat, and Shiki has a giant wheel in his head.
Okay, a lot of people in the comment are saying they think it's Scopper Gaban.
It could be, but
Yeah,
That's what I
Scopper
think
has.
too. I
I
hope
mean,
it's Scopper.
I would love if this is Scopper. I've already told everybody that I am a huge fan of Scopper Gaban, but I mean, unless he's like
really?
old, I guess like Rayleigh, but Rayleigh always had like light colored hair. I don't know. I,
Maybe he
maybe,
grew
I
it
maybe
out.
because he's old and he has white hair now. Could
Uh-huh.
be
Yeah.
Scopper.
Look, I don't care about Scupper too much. Like, I wasn't a fan because there's nothing to be a fan of, to be honest.
It's
But
the third
like,
in command of the Roger Pirates.
yeah, but he does nothing. He just stands there
Don't
with
say that about the
Rayleigh.
world's greatest axeman, bro. Don't say that
He
about the world's
stands there
greatest
with
axeman.
the bro stands there with Rayleigh and then lets Odin overtake him, and that's basically all we've seen of him.
I think it's interesting how the anime focused on Scopper a lot, like way more than the manga during the Odin flashback. Like I wonder if if someone told them behind the scenes, like, yo, give Scopper a little bit more screen time. Just for the sake of the future.
Okay,
I would have liked if this was someone original, to be honest, but I think it is probably Scupper or someone from the Roger Pirates.
Okay, so a lot of people in the comments are saying that Scopper's hair is probably white, so there's a very good chance it's Scopper. Would be very cool. I love Scopper Gaban. Y'all, everybody knows, huge Scopper Gaban fan. If this is Scopper Gaban, W Oda, W Mans. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
We need
finally.
the world's greatest axeman, bro. Absolute
I
W.
was
I'm
I
so
was
excited.
afraid Oda wouldn't bring any of the Roger Pirates besides Rayleigh. I'm like, what happened to them?
Okay, the other thing, which is why I don't think that this is Scupper, is because I mean, what's his name, Shiki. I don't think it's Shiki, is because one, why would Shiki ever walk when he can fly? But two, if he is walking, why isn't
That's
it like
true.
stabbing noises? Because he's got friggin' daggers for legs.
That is
He
true.
cuts
That
off
is
his
true.
legs. So yeah,
Yeah.
like to me, like while I agree his design was reminiscent of Shiki, I just don't think Shiki, like Oda, ever wants to touch Shiki again because it would mean having to contradict the movie he wrote, and he doesn't want to do
Right.
that. Like,
Yeah, the
He
movie
doesn't
isn't
he
mind putting
wants,
canon
them in like
though.
little panels every now and
yeah,
then.
like cameos, the flashbacks, that's fine, but like, I don't think he ever wants to confuse the audience because Strong World was a ginormous film. I just don't think he would like make people like
I
have people
disagree.
depend on reading Chapter Zero. Like, you know what I mean?
I disagree that he would never want to touch Shiki again. Strong World was like a very okay film, and I think it made a good bit of money. Definitely not the most popular of the One Piece films, like money wise. But he put Shiki in like everything, bro. Any like extra little thing he can put Shiki in, he does. This man is grinding at the chops to add this dude back into the story. I'm assuming
Look,
we're going to get some Shiki
You
stuff.
think so?
Bro, it's like
okay, he
there is no reason to
I
add
don't.
Shiki into Road to Laugh Tale. Absolutely no reason. He didn't have to add that tidbit about him, but he did. You don't add that unless you're like been thinking about it for a bit. You're like, ah. So it's
what
like
Tibbet, by the way?
he like put something about if you like go back and you look at the Road to Laugh Tale, there's like a little tidbit about Shiki, and he specifically calls out Shiki.
Yeah, then
Road to Love.
there was that one moment in Wano whenever I think it was the old lady who was like
And had Shiki's face.
Kaido's. Yeah, what's her name? Some
Yeah,
Surgurachi? I don't know,
she did the
Igarashi, something like that. Yeah, she did. What was that about? Why she make Shiki's face? That was so weird.
yeah, like
Oh, that's interesting.
It's just like,
little tidbits here and there that is like pointing out Shiki, and it's like, why is Shiki in all of this? Even if this isn't
yeah,
Shiki, I still think he comes back at some capacity in the story, even if it's just a small reference. I think that Oda really likes that character.
I agree. I think he
this
really
fruit is
likes him.
crazy too. That flow fruit. That fruit is insane.
Look, I
It's so
wouldn't be
broken.
surprised if Shiki cameoed in the future and we saw him like during the final war as like a background element or something. I just like, okay, first of all, to do the Road to Laugh Tale thing, Oda doesn't write those. That's like done by the editor. Like he gave them notes, but like, it's not like he was like, oh, highlight this, highlight that. I really doubt it. But like, in terms of Strong World's popularity, like financially, I think Red has definitely outstripped it. But before Strong World,
Yeah.
One Piece was nowhere near the hit it is today. Strong World going straight into Marineford is what made One Piece the juggernaut it is today in Japan. And so many people saw Strong World that I think it would just be considered confusing, or at the very least, even if Oda was willing to overwrite it, not saying that's canon, but like I just don't think he wants to cause the confusion. But even if he was willing to do that, what do you do about chapter 0? Does that count or not?
It's already so like we already have like stuff in the anime. If you've like watched like the anime fillers, like there are things that are referencing Shiki as well. So it's not really that big of a stretch, honestly. Also, like I think that Marineford was just good. Like I know that's like some people watch it, but it would kind of be like saying, well, Film Red was so massive that they'd never want to touch Uta, but I mean, like Uta was already a character. Like they already kind of added Uta to the canon, and like little ways to work it in. I don't think that a non-canon film is going to stop Oda from adding a character, even if the film did well. Like same thing with One Piece Film Red, where it's like she kind of dies at the end, she's just kind of back and okay because it was a popular character. So it's like Oda has never shied away from changing things, and especially with those non-canon movies, because a lot of the stuff that happens in the movies like end up happening in One Piece anyways.
I think the difference is that Oda wrote World, and I feel like he told the story he wants to tell with Shiki. Even if it's non-canon, the story's
But he
done.
didn't even want the story to go this way. He changed the story
Yeah,
apparently.
he changed it because it was going to be a film. Like originally he wasn't going to have the flying fruit, but because it was a film and he could bend the rules of it being a pirate manga a bit for spectacle.
Like I feel like he might never bring back Shiki just because he said that he was never gonna make a pirate have this devil fruit because it's way too broken. So I don't know if Shiki would ever come back to be part of the main plot of the story. He might come back just at the end as like a cameo, I think.
Hmm.
But
Just because Oda said that. But yeah, we can keep going.
yeah, let's keep going. Geo, not George,
All
as
right.
people are saying in the chat, bro.
George. I'm going to go
When
eat
will the
George.
George stuff stop? Okay. Frankie's group, the Atom Treasure Tree Atom. Wait, Frankie's group, the Treasure Tree Atom.
Off to a good start.
Okay. I don't know why those words confuse me. Unbelievable. Atom wood as far as the eye can see. And I thought it was meant to be rare. Ha 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 ha. Wow, I had no idea it was so valuable overseas. Okay, that's
That's the
the other girl
tree.
saying that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm about to beat the Geo can't read
Thrifty.
allegations. Maybe I should start selling some on the side. Weren't you sent here to keep an eye on me? Saul seemed pretty strict about it. He was all like, "It's a sacred tree, Bucko. Don't go cutting it down, you hear?" Ha ha ha. You sound just like him. Oh, she's saying that Frankie was she's keeping an eye on Frankie.
Yeah. She was sent to basically watch Frankie as he walks around the Atom Tree so he doesn't steal anything.
Frankie's so lucky.
Right. Still, I guess stealing from under the nose of giants is a tall order. Maybe that explains the markup. And then what is he doing? He's like sliding down. What's that? It's a mural. A mural? How do you say that? Mural or mural? I think I said
Mural.
that
Mural.
wrong.
You
Mural.
got it.
Okay. It's graffiti from eons ago. How long is an eon? Is that 100 years?
Yeah. It'd be like
Okay.
hundreds of years ago.
Some kids probably etched it right into the bark and it got fossilized. It's now designated as a cultural heritage site thanks to its enormous historical value. Is a punk's doodle that big of a deal? It's said to date back somewhere between 900 and 800 years ago.
That's crazy.
If that's true, then that will place it right in the middle of the void century. What? We gotta show Robin. She'll be thrilled.
Yes.
Hey, ain't this drawing kinda odd for an old Elbaf? Not all the figures look like giants for old Elbaf. Quite as far as we know, there were definitely times where the races of the world clashed. But this kind of cooperation is unheard of.
I think you still have one
That's
last
why I
page.
think it's probably just some kid's dream.
Ooh.
Walrus School.
The dream,
What?
bro. The dream stuff. Hold up,
Yeah.
real quick, Gio. The dream
Okay.
stuff is so interesting. Like the verbiage of this chapter is really interesting because we have like the lost sheep with Shanks, right? Where it's like, I'm assuming at some point in the story we're gonna be having them try to bring Shanks back to their side. We have the the dream aspect where it's like Luffy, Luffy has his dream and they have all of these crazy ambitions. Like all these pirates have their dreams, and it's like we see her saying like, this wall mural from the Void Century was probably just somebody's dream. Like there's a lot of very interesting connections that are going on there. Continue. Sorry.
Why is the chat cooking me? Gio needs to read the read on me. What in the world?
I'm gonna get changed for school.
Oh my god.
Walrus school. Okay. Wow, kya. Class in session. Everyone listen up. Kya ha 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 ha. Owl library. So this is the Harley. Yep. Whoa, it's so big and old. Wow, giant dust. This pretty tome here preserved many of the rich myths and legends of Elbaf, although it spawned countless interpretations too. Cough, cough. Okay. All right.
All
This
right.
tome here preserved many of the rich and myths and legends of Elbaf.
So, do we have any
Yep.
All right.
feelings about this whole graffiti, which was pointed out? I like how Frankie was straight away like, "Oh, I got to show Robin."
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't see it yet, so I don't know
I
what's
think
showing.
for me, I still believe that like it's probably like part of like the history like that actually happened, and you know how like they just drew the history that happened. Maybe that's like my guess for now.
Yeah, there's definitely something
Yeah,
interesting.
we see three figures like next to Frankie, which is like the one with the crown, with the mermaid body, Emeth, the robot, and then there's like a dog. I don't know what that could be.
I have no idea. It definitely does look like a mermaid. So, and then it could be
Yeah.
Emmet, or it could be like a giant because we know ancient giants had horns. Somebody in the chat also said that it's crazy that Hime is a better reader than Geo. That's crazy.
Why am I getting cooked?
Wow, that's a
Jeez.
double insult. Both
Why
of them
would
got
I
this.
be a good reader? Huh?
Okay, chat person, but can you speak 3 languages like Hime?
Well, that's the
Oh,
thing, is that Hime speaks 3 languages
learned
and is
English.
better at reading
Yeah.
English than Geo. Is actually insane.
Oh no.
You got cooked.
Hey, I gotta read it like 3 times just to make sure I read it right.
Speaking of which, whose turn is it? Do we now do 1-1-1 or like how does it go now?
Usually we
There's only 2 pages left, so
is
whatever.
there only
doesn't
is there only
matter.
2? Oh, okay. So then I
Yeah.
guess I'll restart my channel. Damn it.
Are you, up to you.
All right, so let me go. So it goes, that's why all the warriors of Elbaf believe in very different versions of the sun god. Ain't that the funniest thing you have ever heard? Yeah, haha. May I read it? Of course, Daddy she. The narrative is split into 3 distinct sections. It is said that the third world refers to the present day, meaning it's a type of prophecy. Okay, all right. Mind you, the legend of Nika have spread silently all over the world. The one thing that they have in common is that he appears with a booming laugh to this beat. Do 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 do. I always do it as the Banksake because that's literally what it is. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da da.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I always
I didn't know
imagine
that.
I imagine it as the animes like dun 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 when Luffy's heart is restarting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they did it cool, but when you really think about it, it's kind of weird that it goes to the beat there, isn't it? And like Banksake is basically like, I
I
don't
think
know.
Pingsaki's too slow a rhythm to be like drum like.
Yeah,
It
I
is, but
agree-
it
I
probably
agree
was
with you, Joe.
faster, back then. Like, especially like with the way that I mean, music is so important to One Piece, though. Like, there is a reason that Luffy specifically needed a musician on the crew. Like, music is very important, especially it's like the beating of the drum, and it's like, especially like over time, things can become like changed. So that's why it's like originally the beat of Revolution turned into a sailor song, and that pirates use. You know what I mean? And isn't it weird that Shanks's crew sings that? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I heard that from Shanks's crew. They used to sing it all the time. Interesting.
Right.
So I'll keep going. So it says, I'll read it aloud then. The first world is the earth is engulfed in flame. Fishman Island. Prophecy. And the hearts of
Wait,
men.
what does the earth is engulfed in flame has to do with the fishman?
Madam Charlie made a prediction that it would.
Oh, you're talking about her prediction.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Isn't
Yeah.
that isn't that interesting?
It
But
would
that
be
makes
Luffy who
no
did it
sense
too.
because first, wait, well, what does first word mean? Is it first war?
It could be. So
First
yeah,
world?
so basically it's like the three distinct sections. The third world is present day. So it means
Yeah.
that there are three different ones. So it's like the way very far past, the past that was kind of far, and then the present.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the first word being like this woman's prediction makes no sense because it was before her. She's talking about the
No, no, no,
future.
no,
So
Hime. I'm just talking about literary like narrative parallels.
yeah, but you guys are saying that
No, 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 no. Paralleling the fact that the world was engulfed by flame before that caused the destruction, like a world destruction.
Oh, you guys are just saying it's something that's similar to what she's seeing in the
Yes,
future.
it would be a narrative
Okay.
parallel to what we see with Madame Charlie.
Okay, I thought you were guys saying like this is the same one. I was like, what?
No, no, no.
Okay.
So like
Cool.
like in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
stories and stuff when we're having things that
No,
are happening
I
in
understand. Don't
okay.
worry. Yeah.
All right. So let me keep reading this. So it says, and we have this crazy panel at the very end with like all of this different stuff happening, and we see Frankie standing in front of it. And we have the first world. The earth is engulfed in flame, and the hearts of men burn with desire. Interesting. Burn with desire and devil fruits. I think we remember talking about that, Hime.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I mean, yeah. If you look at them, they're like producing something. And I don't know if like NL that's and like I don't know what's the person with like the lightning and then there's like the whole how NL saw stuff on the moon. It looks the same thing, the same way on the far right.
I've got a lot to say on this, but I'm gonna wait.
yeah, this
Yeah.
this is very
too.
interesting. Men burn
I
with
feel a
desire.
bit bad for Chestnut though, because she's like, "I'll take the last 2 pages," and I wanted to warn her, like, "You're gonna have to read like 8 essays here."
Nah, that's okay. So then we go. They reach for the forbidden star. From whispered prayers, the sun god rose, beckoned by the enslaved. The god of the land was enraged with a serpent of fire. They cast the world into ruin. Darkness fell. Death reigned. Bro, Paravision is going absolutely mental with the white sky theory that he's ever done. Hime, do you remember that theory? For Fizo and Geo, Paravision, one of our besties in the OP community, this man made a theory basically saying that Moria's devil fruit is like one of the best, and that basically when the world descends into darkness, or like, and he calls it like the white sky theory. It's like one of his best theories that like that devil fruit is one of the craziest because you can just steal people's shadows and just create like the craziest like people.
Oh. So if the whole world is dark, then like Moria has like omnipotence over everything.
Basically, right? Like and it's like the most powerful devil fruit, and like that's why he I think he connected back to like the reason why like Blackbeard would maybe want to have it. It was a theory he made like pretty far back, like a couple of years ago, but
That's really.
so it says they would. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I have a question about one of the things that's said here. So, does everyone agree that when they say the god of the land was enraged with a serpent of fire, that's the red line, right?
Yeah, it's the red line.
Okay, because I was thinking that's the red line, the serpent of fire.
The serpent, the first world. I think the first apocalypse is the red line coming up and dividing the world,
I agree.
and it's interpreted as a serpent of fire.
Would make total sense. But like the god of the land was enraged. Like who?
Bland fruit powers, maybe. I think Lunarian.
Could be.
I think the
Maybe
Lunarians, because you
Lunarian,
see the
maybe.
moon is very prevalent on the right
Yeah, the
here.
moon. Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think we see this arc maxim. I think that maybe Eneru basically stole the design from Lunarian civilization.
That's
and
so incredible. I love that.
I think the Birkins and the Skypians and all the ones with wings are like more diluted Lunarian blood, and Lunarians are more pure descendants from the people who descended from the moon.
So
Hence the name.
So I've made a couple theories on Lunarians before, where I basically have said that Lunarians are actually from the Earth. They're actually like, because they're like basically like hell demons, right? Like that's kind of the design. They have like the black wings, they have fire powers, like they're basically like demons. When the sky people came from the moon, right, and like we have all this stuff from the moon, they came down and they basically said they're lunar like these are the lunar like people. They have wings just like how Skypians, Shandians, Birkins have, and therefore they're lunar-like Lunarians. Basically saying that these are like people who live on here that look like they're from the moon, just like us. Because I think that there is something very specific with Birkins specifically, and it's kind of the same thing where it's like we saw the giants remove their horns to prove a point. Birkins remove their wings to prove a point. It's like there's something to do with Anel going back up, seeing the civilization. Like, why did they end up coming down? I've already said that I think Emu is some sort of Birkin.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is going to end up being true. I think that there's a lot of reference to Skypiea here as well. Especially, it's like we had. I think it was like what there was two gods that were like split. If we can bring somebody in the chat, bring up the Skypian gods. But I know there was like a god of the earth, and then I think there was like a god of the sea. Well, we'll have
The
to see. I'm sure.
sun,
Yeah, I'm
the
sure
land.
the land.
Yeah, I just want to understand like the picture. We see like people coming out of like it's like a big building. They're going down, and then they're bringing a sort of power. There's a king, and then we see like a flying ship, like the flying ships from Elbaf, and then
That's
they
Stark
go and
Maxim.
put and they're putting like that power somewhere, and then there's like the red line serpent, and just right next to it we see the Noah underneath that like that king. That's very interesting.
That
By the way, there's
With
19 of them.
animals.
that is
There's
the
Yeah.
Noah. That is the
there's
Noah.
19 there's
Yeah.
19 of them, and if you include the emo like king, that's 20 of them.
Like the 20 kingdoms.
What does that mean?
So those are the 20 kings.
Yeah. So let me
So they
let
give
me finish
power
let me
to
finish
the
all of this
people.
first, and then we can keep, because I feel
Yeah,
like we're just going to be
yeah,
discussing, because there's so much to discuss here. So it says
yeah.
they would not meet again. The second world. A breath stirred in the abyss. The god of the forest summoned its devils, while the sun lit the embers of war. Those of the half and full moons dreamed, yet the ones who slew the sun defied themselves, evoking the wrath of the sea god. They would not meet again.
Wait, hold on. While the sun lit the embers of fire, those of the half and full moon dreamed. Yet the ones who slew. What does slew? The
Slew is
sun
killed.
part?
Killed.
Uh, killed the sun defied themselves. Probably like people of the darkness or something.
Those
But
those who
probably
killed
the
oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
those who killed Lunarians, right? Because they
Yeah.
have the sun on their back.
And half moon, it comes to the D clan because it's a half moon. But the full moon, who are people of the full moon?
The Skypians, the remember the moon?
Oh,
Yeah,
Could
yeah.
be the
I-
full moon and the half. That is interesting that you think it could
The
be a
D
D.
clan.
Ooh.
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think it's the D clan or the half moons.
Uh,
I think the full
Yeah.
moons are the Lunarians. I think that they both dream of power here. They're dreaming against each other.
and
The
then
half moons win, and I think that the half moons fracture. I think Emu and
Okay, and
stuff
who?
turn on Joy Boy.
So here they're saying that the ones who slew the sun defied themselves. The
The,
one
the celestial dragons that kill Joy Boy and make themselves
yeah,
god.
and it says here evoke the wrath of the sea gods, and that's how like the sea gods like came to like maybe go a war or something because they saw this happen.
the mermaid princess, remember? Like evoke of
Yeah,
after the
yeah.
sea god. Like what is the sea god? It's the mermaid princess
Yeah.
bringing up what are they called again?
It means in the second war, like the sea gods were used in the war.
Yeah, the sea gods are like what are the fish called again? The really big ones. They're in
The
like
the sea king.
sea kings.
The
Sea
sea
kings.
kings.
That's what
Sea
the
King,
sea
sorry,
gods
sorry,
are.
yeah.
That's why I was trying
I
to.
just-
I was like, I can't remember them.
Okay, so I'm looking at this a bit more metaphorical. I think the god of the forest creating summoning its devils. I think that's the creation of devil fruit. I don't think they existed in
I
the
like
first
that.
world.
Oh,
I think
I
that
like that.
In the second world, devil fruits were invented, and it allowed someone to eat the Nika fruit. So the sun lit its embers of war. A human ate the Nika fruit and went to war with the Lunarians. There was a war, and the humans won, but the sun was slain. Nika was killed by what probably would have been his allies, and Emu usurped the crown. The celestial dragons made themselves gods. And I think the sea
Mm.
god's wrath is the flood. So and also the devil fruit's curse that everyone's gonna drown. The
Yeah.
devil fruit powers. So I think
Oh, we cook.
the first apocalypse is the red line coming up, dividing the people of the seas and putting people under the Lunarians, presumably because the Lunarians were at the top of the red line. The second apocalypse is the flood and Emu usurping Joy Boy right as he was going to liberate the world and prevent the flood. Who knows exactly how the flood happened, but I think that's what happened.
But wait,
And then
you're
we're on to
saying
the third world.
Yep. So
yeah, but before we go to the third word, like in the first word, you're saying that the Lunarian won, basically, is what you're
I
saying.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
but the thing
Because
is, why do we see the 20 kings inside of that picture? Do they still exist
I think this is just
inside
a
of that
mural of
first word?
everything. So like the mural and these three
Hmm.
books are related, but they're not the same thing. It's not like the first. It's not saying like the first, second, and third. It's this mural is what Frankie is seeing,
No, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Robin
I'm
is
just
reading them.
wondering if they still
I think the
existed
very
in the
far
It's
right,
one
everything
too.
in black, the factory secting, the
Mm-hmm.
fire, the
Mm-hmm.
sea, the
Mm-hmm.
serpent, that's meant to be the first world. And then we see the transition of to the second world, where the 19
Mm-hmm.
kings are making their way up to the middle. And then on the left we get into the third world. We can also see
Okay,
the
okay,
Noah down there, and the Noah
but
is obviously
okay, but
promised to the
yeah.
fishmen, because I believe Joy Boy intends to destroy the Red Line and beat the Lunarians, destroy the Red Line, and that would destroy Fishman Island underneath it, which is why he has to promise to relocate the fishmen.
Mm-hmm. So, who did the Lunarian fight in the first war?
I just think they took over. I think they descended from the moon and took over.
Okay.
well, we'll go through it because I think that there is something very interesting with, like, especially the Forbidden Star. Obviously, sounds like Uranus. Um, the mother flame, the forbidden star.
Mhm.
So I think that there's
I agree.
definitely a connection with that. There's also some very interesting stuff where we see a lot of sky people in this, specifically like in the old world we see them kind of popping up. We definitely see Emu, and then we see like some of these Gorosei members, which we figured. But let me read the third world. So we'll read the third world and come back, and we'll say the third world. Chaos reigns. The world drifts into a void. Yet time does not erase the memory of the promised day. Its shadow looms as the voice of the half moon echoes through the ages, and once more the sun god shall rise, laughing, dancing, guiding the world to its final act. The sun is reborn, a new dawn will break. Surely this time they'll meet.
Okay, because they
Mm.
in the first word they would never meet again, and here they were talking about the god of the land and I think I'm not sure if they're talking about serpent of fire, but like they said they would never meet, and on the third word they're saying that they will meet.
Yeah,
So
so
is
Okay.
it the same
Yeah.
evil
I'm
like
wondering.
presence and same type of god?
so they because they said like the sun god rose,
Yeah.
and then they said like the god of the land was enraged because the sun god rose. They will not meet. Then in the
Mhm.
second one, it was the sun lit the embers of war, the wrath of the sea god. So now we have the sea god. So we have the god of the land, the sea god, and then we have in this one where it says its shadow like
The
the world.
forest god was mentioned too.
Yeah, it shall reach, and then it's like a new dawn will break. Surely this time they will meet. And I think that this does actually harken back to the Skypian gods, where we have all of these different gods. Um, I do think that whatever the connection to these gods, obviously have a very similar connection to Emu. I do think that we see this demonic imagery with the in the hand. We see like the sun basically
Like
like trying to
the
engulf it.
mother flame,
And
right?
it could be the mother flame, or it could be a representation of Joy Boy and the sun god, where it's like each and every time the sun god rose to try to protect people, and every time they failed. And again, back to Fishman Island, where we have this apology from Joy Boy, where Joy Boy is apologizing, basically saying like, "I am so sorry that I failed," and it could be like, "I failed again." Where it's like this has already happened before. The story has already been written in the past, where perhaps I couldn't protect the Lunarians, right? I couldn't protect the Fishman. Uh, And it's like, at this time, it's like, surely the person who is orchestrating this darkness will meet the light. And it's, and the thing is, darkness again, like, we can't just say it's only Emu that's going to be met, because who holds the darkness fruit? Who can actually plunge the world into darkness but the Yami Yami no Mi?
Yeah!
And that's right, Gio, and that's right.
That's what I always thought that Emo and Blackbeard have to fuse somehow.
Fusion dance.
Good.
Get literally.
I feel like it's really interesting that the tree of Yggdrasil is in the middle of all of this. Like
Mhm.
it's like the tree
Right.
of life. You know, like I wonder if there's
Because
any
that's where
significance
like the
to
devil
that.
fruit probably came from.
Okay, so I'm gonna
Mm.
spoil my theory,
Okay.
but still, please watch it.
You can
But,
drop it in the chat then after you're done so that people go see it. Actually, I'll go find it.
yeah, yeah.
I'll find it and then you go talk.
Okay, so here's what I think is going on. I said the first apocalypse is the fire snake is the red line coming up. They would not meet again. I think that references the ocean for blues. Because at the end of the first world, the oceans were separated. At the end of the second world, they would not meet again. Joy Boy failed to take down the red line and reunite the ocean. And the third world,
Mm.
this time surely they will meet again. I think that is the hope that the red line and the calm
Yeah.
belts will be done away with, and the world will end up in one piece.
He will destroy the
Oh!
red line.
Oh!
Yeah, a lot of people like. I mean, I feel like yeah, a lot of people like we all think that
Oh,
like
thanks,
the red
Chestnut.
line has to be destroyed for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the red
That
line does
gets
have to be
to
destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Also,
I
that
think
that connects
they
to
is not.
Sanji's dream, right? The all blue.
Yeah, yeah.
That
The
also
old
could work
blue.
too. Now I want us to like all like I'm looking at like okay, so my big thing that I wanted to talk about is if it was already a prophecy that there's gonna be like a third world, which means a third war. Um, does that mean that everything is predetermined and fate is a big thing inside of One Piece? Like everything is already written.
I don't
Like
think
what
so.
does that mean?
So my interpretation of this is that it's basically telling us, like, in the first world we have the sun god. This is the original incidence of Nika, right? Just like how Wano was in 3 acts, just how like every other thing in One Piece basically has these 3 distinct acts. There was the first act, and the first act was basically the world was plunged into darkness. The Yami Yami fruit, Gecko Moria's devil fruit, the reigned supreme. Darkness reigned supreme. The second world, it was
Devil fruits don't exist though.
start. Hmm?
But in the first word, devil fruit don't exist though.
Well, that's
That's
just
that's a
speculation.
theory. That's not
Oh,
true,
okay.
right?
In the game.
So it's like in the second world, it's like we have the abyss, right? The forest god. Like things are trying to stir. This darkness isn't just going to be left alone, right? So we have like things coming out and meeting, and this is the void century. So the second world is the void century, stuff that we really don't have anything about. And then the third world is basically saying like everything that happened in the second world is plunged into darkness, but the sun god will return at some point. Like we will have another sun god. We will have the will of D will continue to progress, and hopefully this time Joy Boy actually gets to reach the darkness, which I'm assuming would be Emu, right? And I would assume that it says like they would not meet again, where it's like they met before they became these figures, and then they never met again. Like they never actually got to fight, which means that in the Void Century, it's probably that like Joy Boy never actually fought Emu. You know what I mean? Like it's like they never actually got to meet. Where it would be very interesting if it's like this is the one timeline in which it's like we get the change that we need.
But that still mean that like it's fated to happen. We don't know what the result will be, but it's fated still to happen, which means that like no matter how hard the world government and whoever tried to like stop this from happening, it was fated to happen.
Well, they say like surely this time they'll meet again. Where it's like because the other times it's like they would not meet again. They met one time, things happened, and they just never their paths never crossed, and they're like hopefully this time it's different.
Yeah, but what I
So
mean is that I still see that like there's a fate of like that happening in the future. There's a third war. It's gonna happen whether and y'all like it or don't like it.
It's basically
Is
just
how I
like
So
see it.
saying like there probably will be a time where it comes back up, but hopefully this time is different. So it's not like a prophecy, it's more just like a dream. And that's why it's
well,
like
I think I think you're both right because Oda literally has both takes in the chapter. He has Ripley say,
Yeah.
"Oh
Oh,
man,
it's a
all these
dream.
races collaborating. It feels like some kid's dream because that never happened in
Yeah.
history, as far
And
as I know."
and and then in
And
the
then we have
Harley,
Soul. We have Soul
yeah,
being like, "It's kind of like a prophecy, you know."
it's a type of
So
prophecy.
I think
It
that
could be
I
both.
mean,
It's interesting.
in the narrative we have people debating about the Harley text because that's what Oda wants. He wants people
Mm.
to debate whether this is hopeful thinking or whether this was a legitimate prophecy because it's unclear. And I think we have a lot of fate piece recently, especially from the villains of the series, the Gorosei. Like when Sabo was on Lelouchia, they're like, "How unfortunate," and then the other one corrects him and is like, "No, this was his fate." When they find out that Sabo was on the island, which was going to be nuked, I think there's no telling whether this is fated to happen or not. But I would like to think that this is probably what the people at the end of the second world want to happen in the third world because they don't know, but this is what they hope happens. They hope that Joy Boy returns like he promised and unites all these tribes we see here. We can see like
Yeah.
a ancient giant, we can see Emeth, we can see Laboon,
We
we
see
can see
also
Wano
the
people,
king,
Arabasta.
the Lunarian. We see Lunarian like
There's a
We
flying.
do.
Tontata here as well.
I
Uh,
think
So
it's like it's really interesting about the whenever what's this lady's name, the
oh,
giant, when
oh
she
my
Ripley.
god, I
says
just
that's
saw
why.
something.
Ripley.
what?
Yeah,
They're
Ripley.
knights on
Whenever
the left
she's
hand side.
Hmm,
Wait, what did
I
you
didn't
say?
notice this in my video. I didn't notice this.
What?
Over
Nice.
Emu or whoever's holding the sun, they're knights. Can you see that? Going the other way from Luffy and Nika and
Oh, the
stuff. They're
Holy
facing to the
Knights
right.
probably.
Yeah, they're probably the
Wait,
Holy Knight.
what did you mean? Inside of Emo, you mean?
The
Yeah,
one
yeah.
on
Yeah,
They're
can
the
you
like
one on
see
the
right
on her
ship.
under.
thigh?
Gio,
On
what
the
were you?
ship. Okay, yeah.
Gio, what were you saying?
Oh, I was saying I think it's really interesting that whenever Ripley says like that's why I think it's probably just some kid's dream because like we don't know what Luffy's like actual dream is. So I'm wondering if like this could be like because she's talking about whenever Frankie says like this kind of cooperation is unheard of from like the all the races coming together. So maybe that could be Oda hinting at what Luffy's real dream is maybe because we know him and Roger share the same dream.
The thing is, like, it looks too much like Big Mom's dream, like reuniting all the races. So I feel like this is not
Yeah.
Luffy's
Big
dream.
Mom and Elbaf, Big Mom and Elbaf.
Yeah, yes, 100%.
Um,
I think that Luffy's dream is way more like childish and selfish, but it
Mhm.
does like correlate to all of this in the big scheme of
but
things.
yeah, eventually they go. Let me just read these
Yeah.
super chats really quickly. So I have a $2 super chat from One Tour Bus. Thank you so much, my friend. And he says, Geo the fraud did not have Blackbeard in his top 30. Hashtag fraud. Hashtag Geo doesn't know anything
Oh
he's
my
talking about.
goodness.
Hashtag Geo is
I
wrong.
forgot, bro.
Hashtag that Geo doesn't read One Piece. Hashtag Geo doesn't read
Who is this guy?
Skypiea. Ridiculous,
No way he
Geo.
said all that.
No, he didn't. I
He said
added a
all
lot of
that?
those. I added a lot of those on.
Oh my goodness. I was like, how much he donate? He got a lot of text. Jesus.
Question: Do you still have a super chat, or can I ask?
No,
a
I still have
question?
another
Okay.
thing. I'm
Okay,
sorry,
go ahead,
Hime.
go
Just
ahead.
give me one more. So we
Okay.
got Truman Spider for 12 months. He has been a member, and he says, "Don't forget to give a like to these two amazing content creators." Thank you so much, Truman. I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you could join us again. Truman has been here basically since the beginning, so much love, my friend. Go ahead, Hime. Ask your
Yeah.
question.
So I have a question. Like, so we see Imu on the left, and we see the Holy Knights like inside on the boat, but where's the Gorosei?
So I mean, like when I'm looking at this, I see the Gorosei. I see like Jupiter with this worm. I know that people are saying that this is the
Oh, wait,
the
where do you see the worm?
at the
I
very
can't
right.
see it.
So a lot of
Yeah,
people I
right.
think are going to interpret this as like a serpent, and I did see a couple One Piece content creators because I was kind of like a little spoiled on like that there was some sort of fire serpent, and people bringing this up, and I think that's how people are interpreting this. The way that I interpret this though is that these creatures that have caused this chaos are like the powers of the Gorosei. And I think that we're going to see like that worm is drawn basically the exact same way that Jupiter is drawn, right? We have this weird fire-breathing beast at the top, but doesn't that look like Mars? I cannot remember his
Mars.
name. I like for the life of me, bro. That is
No, it's Mars.
yeah. So like
It's Mars.
so You know, that's what we
I
see
don't know.
here.
He went
Maybe
on a
wait,
left
maybe
here.
Emo took inspiration from those creature, and that's what. You know what? Whoever Figureline gets will help us also. See if like it's all related or not.
So I also had.
If that's
Oh, go
oh, go
ahead. Go
ahead.
ahead. No, you go ahead, Gio. I'll say it later.
Oh, okay. That makes it so much more significant that Emu had killed off Homeboy, because if he was around for this long, that's crazy that he just murked him like that.
Change is
What
coming.
was his name? Yeah,
Saturn. Yeah, that would actually be
yeah.
crazy. It.
Because
I
he's been
guess it.
around for 1,000 years. Like that's nuts.
Unless it's like these powers can be transferred to other people, but I would assume that they would
Hmm.
manifest differently. Like depending on who
I
has
don't
it, they
think
would
so.
manifest differently.
Oh
Maybe
god, does that
I
mean
Garling
have
has it.
I have a
Garling
question for you
Garling gets the
guys.
stupid spider now?
Yeah.
Nah,
But
please no. So I have a
Maybe he
question
put
for
it in
you
his
guys.
oh,
sword.
Hime, do you mind if I say
Yeah,
my thing really
yeah,
quickly?
no, yeah, of
Um,
course, of course.
because basically I just wanted to talk really quickly about what's happening in the right corner where we have like these people holding energy, and they're basically there's
Mm-hmm.
this elevator, and they're getting this sort of energy and they're bringing it back up. Now a while ago I cooked up a theory that the Void Century was basically powered with hockey. Electricity just isn't really seen in One Piece. Like it really doesn't exist. Like you'll see that there's like lanterns and stuff. And so having this like eternal power source would be crazy, and I think that that's like the mother flame, right, where we have this. um the thing that I think is interesting is that we see these people like very similarly to how we saw like Enel and the Moon, like they're having this energy and they're bringing it up almost like they're harnessing it from somewhere. I made a theory once that the reason that the Lunarians are basically gone is because they were the original source of energy, and that to harness like their flame, there was a special method that could like take them. And it kind of does make sense where it's like, there's all this stuff, going on, and it's like, oh, the Lunarians aren't really here anymore. It seems like they've been a vital portion of this. It's like, what if their energy was harnessed to create like this energy source, the mother flame, so that like Uranus could be powered, basically, or something along those lines. Or even to the fact of like, how do you create a devil fruit? It's like you steal the dreams of somebody with immense power and turn them like, and Lunarians, like I said, have this like devil-esque style. Like, what if these powers originally did belong to Lunarians and they just took them? I always thought it was interesting to try to do that. Um, but go ahead, Heba. You can ask your question and then I'll go to the
So
super chat.
my question is, we all know that obviously in the first word it was probably the sun god, and the second word it was Joy Boy, and the third word is gonna be Luffy. But my big question is, Emu, was it Emu, the same Emu in the three world?
Could be. Could be.
I think from the second world, because
Me too. I think
Emu
so too.
seemed to just be one of the other, um,
Because
one of the
Emo
20.
only, yeah, because Emo only talks about what happened 800 years ago. Emo
Yeah,
never talks about what happened in the first word ever, ever. So
I
I
th-
think that yeah, you're right.
okay. Going back to what I was thinking, I think on the far right, the moon at the top symbolizes the Lunarians' dominance in the first world,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I think that so during the second world, Joy Boy eats the Nika fruit, the fruits just being invented, and rallies up pirates and other
Mhm.
kingdoms around the world. I think he's the first pirate because he went against the government at the time, the gods at the
Mhm.
time, the Lunarians. And I think Emu was another pirate. And what do pirates do? They stab each other in the back. And I think
Mhm.
either after they dealt with the Lunarians or before, Emu stabbed him in the back, got the other 19 kings on board, or at least 19 of his allies, and crowned themselves the gods of the New World.
I love that.
Um,
I love that.
Let me read this super chat very quickly. We have another $5 super chat from Terrence Matthews. Thank you so much, my dude. I super appreciate it. He says, people online are saying that Roger saw this with Emu on Laugh Tale and said, I'm supposed to fight this guy? Oh no, LMAO.
Okay, I've seen Rogers being cooked online, but I want to remind these people, Unchained people are just reactionary. Some of them are joking, but the serious one, honestly, maybe don't have enough brain cells. I need to tell them that Rogers knew that he was too early. So even if he wanted to fight Emu, it was too early, and he knew that. So all he could do is indirectly spread the word so people still go search for the One Piece to be able to get to that end. he wouldn't be able to fight evil. Like he was 20 years too early.
So I think it is very interesting that people think that like Roger just saw this, where it's like technically like I mean I think we can figure that Roger at some point went to Elbaf, but it's like when and maybe he did, maybe he didn't, right? But when he goes to Laughdale, he knows everything. So it's like we have this little bit of context, but imagine knowing exactly like what happened, and whatever happened was hilarious. You know what I mean? Like he's laughing, and it's like this stuff doesn't sound funny. Like it's not funny. Like this stuff is terrifying. That there is some sort of fire.
Is so different.
Yeah,
probably.
that destroyed the world. That there's some sort of devil that rose from the
There's
earth, and
no
the
way,
sea god
yeah.
attacked, and the sun god. You know, hopefully he'll be able to combat this darkness before the world is pulled into a void. Like this is terrifying. And then Roger goes on Laughdale, and he's like, "Yo, this shit hilarious. This shit funny
That's
as hell."
not what he saw
Right.
there.
So I
That's
think
not
it's
what he
like-
saw there.
Laugh Tale
Different.
has to be like it has to be the island or like the One Piece has to be something that Joy Boy left behind.
I
Because
agree.
it would have to be something
Yeah.
that's funny that would make him laugh. And this
Yeah.
who's like known for being funny.
And that's where
Nika.
he was 20 years early. So all of the people that are cooking Roger, like, did y'all forget the statement? Like,
Yeah, and
the one thing I feel bad about for Roger is like he used to be one of the trio, right? The heroic trio. We always thought, okay, there was the Luffy era, the Roger era, and the Joy Boy era. But now we know that there's an era even before that with Nika. So like now
Yeah.
Roger's kind of
Aren't-
knocked out of
there's-
the. He was never meant to be the.
yeah.
There's three Nikas, right? 3 different Joy Boys that existed throughout history.
Actually,
right? Is that
the
what
thing, the thing is, if we go with like Fizo's theory, Joy Boy was the first sun god because Nika didn't exist in the first world. If we go with his theory,
Well,
if we go with his first
okay.
theory.
There are two ways to interpret the first world. If you accept my theory as true,
Mhm.
okay. I actually am completely on board, 100% sold on Haki was the dominant power and fuel of the ancient civilization, like Chestnut was saying. I think that Haki is actually like the core of everything. Like even devil fruits are like refined Haki technology because you're making a desire a reality. You're making will a reality. But whatever the case, the first civilization, maybe they're able to harness Haki and energy from people, Mother Flame, yada yada. Regardless, I think in the first world, either the enslaved people under the Lunarians or whoever was oppressing them dreamed for a liberator, and whether they got one or whether they just came up with the idea of one, the sun god came into existence. Now, whether a real person called Nika was there and failed to rise up, or whether he was just an idea, who knows? But at least by the second world, we have someone who wants to have that power, I think. Unless you think that the Nika and Joy Boy lived all the way from the first world to the second world. But I actually think that these are
I
three
think
distinct
you're right.
heroes.
You know why I subscribe to your theory because times and times again we have seen in One Piece that like people's desires actually materialize and people's dream at the same time. That's how devil fruits exist. So probably because of people like parade and dreamed so much of something, there was a devil fruit that was created purely out of these desires, and somebody ate that fruit and like was the liberator of all of these people. So probably you need for something to happen for a god to actually like exist, people need to believe in him. There has to be belief that and faith, and probably after that he really existed. Like somebody came to like be his, like could be like just like his physical form, whatever. But yeah, I don't think like the god just existed out of nowhere before people wanted him to exist.
So I actually have a different way to go along with Fizo's theory, and it's the same thing that I kind of say about the Gorsei, where it's like, let's say that we don't think that they're devil fruits, right? They don't have devil fruits. And some people, even earlier in the chapter, were like, the Cerberus didn't have the devil fruit thing. It didn't say like the dog model mythical, Cerberus, right? It just said Cerberus.
Sure.
There is a possibility that devil fruits didn't exist because real devils walk the earth. And we have here that the god of the land was enraged, right? Where it's like he's enraged that something is happening, where it's like the sun god was just a person. And when that person dies, for some reason, people with power and dreams and aspirations can somehow be turned into these devil fruits. And that's why when you eat a devil fruit, you are hated by the sea, right? Because it could have been that these were actually created by the god of the land, right? Where it's like, if that's why if you are of the land, and therefore that's why then the sun god is so hated by the sea god, right? And it's why you would be hated by the sea, because if you come from the land and you grew up from the land and you've basically cannibalized the land, you are hated by the sea. And it's why I think like devil fruits aren't from the ocean. And so when you look at it kind of from like these things were real devils turned into devil fruits, which would mean that technically, right, we could have Saturn, now that he's dead, transformed into a devil fruit. And perhaps we even see this devil fruit be eaten by somebody else. And I always really like that possibility.
Have we ever had a confirmed case of a celestial dragon that isn't a flamingo eating a devil fruit? Because
Not
maybe
as
they
far as
see it
no.
as dirty. Maybe it's the weapon
Oh,
of
they
their
definitely
enemy.
see it as dirty because they feed it to their slaves. You remember?
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
true. Yeah.
they
But
feed it to the
Chestnut,
slaves.
what you were just saying, I think is super right, because maybe there were just gods and like super strong beings walking the earth back then. Maybe the first era is a bit more magical, and then the second era they're able to replicate the powers of the first era through food.
Replication, industrialization, you know what I mean? Like this
Yeah,
was the technological
Mhm.
era. So it kind of is
yeah.
like how our
The
own human
second era is the
civilization, right?
technological era.
Where it's like we have the Greeks, right? The Norse mythology, ancient Egypt, the mythical era, you know what I mean? Where it's like there's all of these crazy gods and everything, and then slowly, like our world right now, we turn into the normal technology, our industrial revolution. We go up, and those things are myths, right? But we're able to recreate them with technology, and then an
And
apocalypse
we
happens.
know, yeah, we know that One Piece is post-apocalyptic because Vegapunk was saying that.
Yep, and that's basically this is basically just Adventure Time.
But
Again.
but then but then if there were like these like real gods in the First World War, like so they went against the Lunarian.
Possibly. The thing is, it's like Fizo thinks that the Lunarians were like basically the main people like popping up, and
Okay.
like those were the first villain. So technically, yes, that would be like if they were going against somebody, then they could. But when you think about it, like the Lunarians were like basically super soldier devils. You know what I mean? Like they had like
Right.
these
Yeah.
hellfire powers. They were flying through the
Yeah.
air. Like
Imagine a whole
Hellfire,
species
like the
of
snake.
king. That's a whole species of people like King. I
In
hope King is like
Japanese,
just ridiculously strong, and they're not all like that, like by
But
default.
the thing is, like, I do believe that, like, yes, maybe like they industrialize and were able to create maybe devil fruit or something. I'm not too sure, but like, still, we cannot take out whatever Vegapunk said that like devil fruit are created from desires and wishes of people. So
yeah,
there has to be a natural occurrence for a devil fruit to sprout somewhere
oh,
and exist because of somebody's wishes and desires for it to exist.
I disagree, because Vegapunk also calls them unnatural and cites that as the reason why the sea hates them.
and that's the other thing where it's like
Mm.
devil fruits, like you can say like, oh well, devil fruits, they respawn, they like can't, like they're, like if you eat a devil fruit, like you can't eat another one, like there's all these weird rules. But then also we have Vegapunk, who recreated a devil fruit with technology, who had been researching the ancient technology of the void century, right? And like he has all of this stuff about devil fruits that he's able to do, and it's like, were they researching devil fruits? Were they taking the gods of old and putting them into devil fruits? Were they literally taking their corpses and creating stuff out of them? That's what I would
Then,
think happened.
But me, my big thing is like, why did he said that they exist because of like they exist like
well,
out of
because,
people's desires
okay,
and wishes.
take your iPhone, right? Someone desired to make an iPhone, and that's how you got it made. Okay, someone had to build it, obviously, but
So
like,
you guys,
so
so you guys
someone
think that
envisioned
like
an iPhone and then made it.
so you guys think that like there cannot be a devil fruit that like exists now because somebody like really prayed for that devil fruit to exist. Like somebody has to create that devil fruit. So that means that no
Well,
devil fruit will be added to the devil fruit lot from the first world.
I mean, that's why there's an encyclopedia with every devil fruit that's known, because
Okay,
like
so yeah,
they're all
so there
known.
can never be another devil fruit unless like Vegapunk creates a new one, obviously.
Yeah,
So
I
that's
mean,
why.
maybe you could make a new devil fruit, but I think it took effort from the ancient
So they're
civilization.
all man-made.
I think
I
that
think so.
it could be
'Cause
man-made,
it
or
says
like
a
this
nat-
land god, whoever this land god was, could have had. Like, I think that devil fruits are created from like the corpses of people. Like, you would basically take somebody who has powers, you would turn them into a devil fruit. And the thing is, it's like it could have been like unnaturally using the god of the land's power to create them into some sort of tree to bear fruit, and that's why they have like will, where it's like the will of a mythical animal is really strong and it'll last through the centuries. Where it's like the will of fire isn't as strong but still can last. You know what I mean? So it's like I think that this is going to get very dark and morbid because Oda likes doing dark and morbid into the lore of One Piece, and then happy go lucky in what's actually happening. Which I'm digging. I'm digging it. Let me just read these two super chats really quickly before we continue. We have a $2 super chat from One Tour Bus. Thank you so much again for another super chat. He says Roger wanted Ace to deal with Emu. What a guy. Massive W. He kind of did. He saw what Emu did and said, "My son gonna do that." He did. He wanted the One Piece to be found by Ace. So you are not wrong.
Yeah.
Uh,
God.
the second super chat is from D, a 50 peso super chat. Thank you so much, D. I super appreciate it. Saying, Harley is the Bible. Also, don't slander George.
Oh my goodness. Why did I say George?
Poor Geo. Poor Geo. Poor Geo, dude, bro. Show him some love in the chat.
I'll go
Um,
back to Geo.
my god, I'm having like a fan freak out at the moment. Recon commented on my video, and I've been a fan of him for so long.
oh, I love King Recon. I love Recon so much.
Oh,
He's so
yeah.
great.
So sweet.
Yeah, he's very
He needs to
nice.
clean his floor though.
Also, Terrence Matthews
Just
kind of
kidding.
agrees that says that he doesn't think that Emo has a devil fruit, that it's just a demonic being, and I would agree. I just think that these people are just like demonic beings. Like, I think that it's like
straight demons, a straight up demon.
yeah, and that's why it's
so-
like these mythical creatures just like exist, right?
But the thing is, if really Emo is just a demon, it doesn't work with the theory where like Emu like betrayed Joy Boy and
I don't think
became a
Emu is one
pirate.
of these.
Yeah,
I
I
think
Emu
Emu is a pirate
became-
or a thief or a usurper.
I think
with
Emo
soul power.
became a demon after like eating
Yeah.
a devil fruit or something. I think that Emo was like a normal person just like Joy Boy. Both ate a devil fruit or something, and or Emo ate a devil fruit after whatever. But Emo like backstabbing Joy Boy makes a lot of sense to me.
I agree. I think
I actually
Emu
I
became
actually
a god.
disagree. I actually disagree because here's the thing, and your man's Doflamingo actually said this. What dictates somebody being a demon versus somebody being a good person or a god? What dictates
win.
something looking evil?
The victor.
Yeah, but
So-
what does that have to do with?
So you're saying that Emu became this demon, had all of this power because they used it to betray Joy Boy. But the thing is, it's like, how do we not know that Joy Boy just saw them as a person first, and they already had this
I'm
power,
saying
and
the
Joy
other
Boy
way around.
accepted them, and then Emu just betrayed Joy Boy and was just like, I want even more power. I already have all of this, but without you, I'd be unstoppable. So you
Well, I
can
think
still
maybe
have
going
it with
from
that too.
powerful to
But
god.
my big thing is that like the other kings with them, like they wouldn't be fine with like just being like with a demon with them like on a ship. Or
But you
something.
don't know
I
what a
just feel
demon
like it
is,
would be
Hime.
weird.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you're looking at this from such a you perspective. Like, you would be like, oh my god, that person looks like a demon. That's crazy. Except we have like people with wings in One Piece. We have people who are giants. We have people who look like Fishman. It's like, wouldn't you think that if you saw a Fishman
so
in
you
real
think-
life that they'd be demonic?
Okay, so you think like yeah they have like a superhuman like figure like that wouldn't scare people, but he's like a demon still.
Well, let's say that Emu is a Lunarian, right? A Lunarian would be a very demonic figure, kind of looking to us like the dark wings, the hellfire. You know what I mean? Like, that's usually how they're depicted in media. But
Yeah,
you see
that's
King,
true.
and King obviously isn't a demon, right? King is just somebody with dreams and ambitions. He is like probably one
No.
of the most purest people in One Piece, just wanting to help his captain's dreams succeed. He was completely subjugated by the world and hunted by the world government because of his body. So it's like,
Or it could be that like Emu had to betray Joy Boy to like receive these demonic powers as well. It could be that. Too.
It could be a combination, right? Like they could have been really strong, and that's why they got, they became part of this revolution, or they Look, okay. I want to clarify the Lunarian thing one last time because I don't think I did the best job of explaining why I think. Whether or not the Lunarians are responsible for the world being in flame and people being enslaved, the reason why I think this is one, the prominence of the moon in the image, but two, the name Sun God. The sun and the moon are polar opposite. If you were to envision someone to stand up against the moon people, you would envision a sun hero. And that's why I think he's called Sun God Nika. I think it's because he's the one who's going to end the era of the moon. And the other reason is, I probably should have done this in the translation, but you said hellfire. That is the terminology used for the serpent. It's serpent of hellfire rather than just fire, which is another reason why I think Lunarian when I see it. And the third and final reason why I think the Lunarians were in charge is because we're told that they were on top of Marijua before Emu and his cronies took over. So I think it makes sense that there was an old order. Joy Boy was successful in dethroning that order, but wasn't able to achieve his dream because Emu took over afterward.
Yeah.
And then we go to the current Void era.
I agree. There's also one other thing that I think is very interesting, and Jody List in the comments pointed it out, and I forgot to talk about this. All 3 ancient weapons are shown on this panel.
Really?
Wait,
You
where
think
did
so? Where?
What are? Can y'all
So-
pick them out? I wanna
All
know
right,
what
so
they are.
so I think that the first one is this. Like, we can say that this huge ship over here, obviously referencing Pluton, right? Like, there's like
Yeah,
this
Pluton,
crazy.
yes,
So
I agree.
so Pluton is here, right? I would say
Wait, I
that.
don't see it.
So on the very right, this like
Noah.
yeah, like there's
Noah.
this there's
Yeah,
literally
on
this
both,
like
yeah.
large like we see like the Noah in here, but then if you look like where Emu's on top, there's oars coming off of where Emu is sitting.
Oh, I
This
think.
whole thing is
Oh.
Pluton.
Oh my god,
Wait,
you're so
wait.
right. With
Like,
the
with
smoke
this-
effects.
with the
Wait, wait.
smoke and
I
everything.
don't see it. Wait. What smoke? What are you
It's
guys
like
talking
all
about?
together. It's like all together.
That so
whole
the
thing,
entire right side where we have like these bellowing like towers and they're going in and there's this power source that's going. That whole thing where Emu is at the very top with oars, that whole thing is Pluton.
With oars? Where do you see? I'm so confused.
No, oars as in like the paddles for a paddle boat, not oars as the giant.
Oh,
Hold up,
Not
Hima, I'll
oars.
share it. I'll share it with you.
yeah. I don't
All right,
understand these
Here,
terms.
here, see it?
RP to go.
So you see where Emu is right up here. So we have Emu
Yeah.
right at the top, and then this whole thing is this entire thing is Pluton.
Ah, okay. I see.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
crazy.
Okay,
The
so
whole
this
That's
entire
true,
thing
that's
is
really cool.
so this entire
do
thing is
y'all-
Pluton.
Big.
Do y'all think that's the arc maxim above him? The NO
Yes.
ship? That's crazy. So I was rewatching Sky Pier recently. And NL's whole reason for wanting to destroy the Sky Islands is that he said that he wants to destroy all of them because they're unnatural, according to him. I find that so interesting because where did he get that from?
I
And
mean,
now we
it
got
makes
this
sense.
arc maxim siding with Emu. It's like if NL comes back, he gonna be a villain again?
But
I
dude,
would
he
assume
also goes to the moon in that, right? That builds on
Yeah.
my it's stolen Lunarian tech idea. That's how they got down from the moon on friggin' Arc Max.
I also
It's so
I think like
interesting.
I think especially for like Enel and like the entirety of like that arc maxim where it's like it was probably like a Pluton adjacent ship. I also think that like Emu is the one who created the White Sea. Like there was something that created the White Sea. It's unnatural, and I agree. It is completely unnatural. There's something very weird about it, and it's why like Enel, he didn't make his station on Burka. He made it on like the one piece of land that came from the sea. Like, and it was literally said to be holy
One
land.
Piece.
Roll credits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but and for the other weapons, like we see that even with Uranus in their hand, but like where's the rest?
What? So no. So we have Pluton here.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, right? So we have over here. This is obviously some sort of Sea King, I would assume. We can say that this was the original Sea King, right? It looks like the Sea King. They're always kind of depicted like this. I would say that this is the Sea King, and this is supposed to represent Poseidon, where we have the thing literally coming out of the water and doing it, and it's like we have like the Noah here. So I would say this is the representation of everything. And we also see there's this weird demon creature here fighting up against what could be the Sea King. and we know that they lost, right? And like I said before, this looks like Jupiter. What if like the original Sea King was turned into a weapon by Emu after losing? So
Could be, but yeah, but then again, like okay, we see. Okay, so you're saying Pluton, you're saying and then we see what is it the name of Shirahoshi's thingy?
yeah, Poseidon. And then you want to know what I
Poseidon,
think
and
Uranus
then
is?
Uranus. You don't think it's the ball with the emu's head?
Could be, but you see how there's this whale up here? Do you see? You see
Hmm.
how there's this whale at the very top flying? Now, wouldn't it make more
Well, I do
sense?
think so.
So, like, here's the thing. Like, we actually see this mermaid princess here. If you look at the very bottom around here, and I'm circling there, at the very bottom of this picture, that's supposed to be the mermaid princess Shirahoshi, right? Or
Yeah,
whoever
yeah,
the
for sure.
previous one is.
Yeah.
So if the stuff down here, you know what I mean? We have these ships. We have this huge ship going to attack. Why is this whale up at the top? Uranus is a whale. Uranus is a flying whale.
A flying
Then,
whale.
but then, like it's too similar
It's
to
not prominent
Poseidon.
in
No, bro,
It's
no,
too-
no,
it's
no,
too
no, no,
Why
no.
similar to
is
Think
it
about it.
flying?
Think about it. Think about the importance of Laboon. Think
I don't
about the
know.
importance of Laboon, and think about how, and we saw it with Laboon. Do you remember Hime and Gio and Fizo? Because I know that I sounds like you guys are onto like my level of thinking. The entirety of Laboon was hollowed out basically, and he created like
Yeah.
tracks inside of it. It was completely mechanical.
So you're
And
saying that the mother
remember,
flame is not a weapon.
I
It's
think
not
that the
actually a
mother
The
weapon.
mother
flame
flame's fuel.
powers Uranus, which is a gigantic whale that flies in the sky.
Okay,
Hmm,
here's the
interesting.
only
remember,
thing. I actually like the idea. I think it's wacky, but I like it. The only reason why I'm going to slightly doubt is because of how unprominent the whale is in the mural. It just seems to be among all the other Nika allies charging at Joy Boy, right? Like
It
it's
is.
shaded the same way.
But so
uh,
is the ship. It's like not really like, I mean it's big, but it's like when you look at it, right? Like it's like there's a lot of stuff happening where you really have to look at it in order to see what it is. You know what I mean? Things are like hidden in here. So it's like, and I mean, and we see like the Lunarian hitting the charge. There's two people riding on top of this whale where there's a bunch of water dripping down. And if you look, this is the only water that's dripping down in the entire thing. And what happens to a Lelucia? Water dripping down. They
delete it.
literally,
Yeah.
yeah, Gio got
I
it.
would say it's also interesting because we know that Laboon was constantly attacking the red line, like her hurting himself. So maybe like
Mhm.
he knows that as Pluton, if he is that, he wants to destroy
Uranus.
the red line. Or
I think
Uranus,
Mhm.
yeah, Uranus.
Could be.
I think that is symbolic of one day the red line will fall and friends will be reunited, Brooke and Laboon.
And what's gonna destroy the red line? A whale, a flying whale in the
Here's my
sky.
question.
I
Here's
honestly
my
think it'll just be
question.
Luffy, to be honest.
Shouldn't Zunisha be somewhere in this mural, given his like significance? Like,
I
You
do
vote.
don't
you
think?
guys think Zunisha is anywhere?
I don't think that Zunisha is anywhere. I think so. My big thing with Zunisha is that Zunisha is Peter, right? Zunisha is Saint Peter who betrayed Jesus 3 times, right, and ended up suffering the consequences of betraying Jesus, which is Joy Boy. That's kind of like the symbolism where it's like I betrayed Joy Boy, like I'm so sorry, like all of this weird apologetic language, and like only really listening to Joy Boy at that time. There are going to be a pirate crew surrounding Joy Boy that we see, and there is going to be the denier, which is Zunisha, and I think that's why Zunisha is in the story, and there's going to be a betrayer.
I think.
It's
Sorry.
no, I was gonna say I think that there is somebody in the crew, whether accidentally or on purpose, will betray Luffy.
Oh, you think in the modern storyline someone's gonna betray him?
And the thing is, I don't think
Yeah,
it's going to be
Tanuki.
like how Emu did. I think it's going to be like by complete accident that they end up doing it.
Imagine if Chopper was a villain this whole time and Oda was
That would
Oda was
be so wrong.
deconstructing
That would be
deconstructing
crazy.
cute mascot characters.
That would be
No,
crazy.
It would be Zoro. He's like, yo, my name is the Pirate Hunter. What do you think I've been doing this
No,
whole
Yeah.
time?
I think
I
what's
was
gonna
building up
happen.
the biggest pirate so I could take him down for his
No,
bounty.
it has to be
Yeah.
somebody that no that like it makes no like we
It's
were like, oh my god, how?
it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Usopp or it's gonna be Nami, and I think that they're going to do it,
Ooh.
but it's not going to be in the way that Emu expects it to be, and I think it's going to be like they betray them, but not in the way that they should, and it's to protect them instead. Like, do you remember how Nami at the beginning of the series like betrayed Usopp by stabbing him? But in reality, like she just needed to make it look like that.
With the ketchup
Mm.
star.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Something.
if
If
you
it's
guys
Usopp
know.
again, he'll be unredeemable because people were already pissed at Usopp for the Water 7 thing. So if you do that again, Usopp, you better not.
I
I
don't
don't
think it's
know.
Usopp because it's too evident. Oda doesn't make things too clear.
That's not true. Everybody comes back alive at the very end, so he made that very clear. Hime.
I'm not sure if you
No,
guys are
not
familiar with
everybody.
the non. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the non-canonical gospels, but a lot of gospels didn't make it into the Bible because they were written too late, or just weren't accepted by the early church. And one of them is the Gospel of Judas, and it's really interesting because it tells the story from Judas's perspective, and in his truth, allegedly, Jesus told Judas to betray him so that he could escape his mortal body and stuff. So it's like a deep conspiracy theory.
Oh my god.
That is insane.
I don't know if there'll be a traitor in the Straw Hats, but I like the idea. My thinking with Zunisha was always that his crime was actually destroying the homeland of the Mink, because where did they live before that? And why is his punishment to wander and guard the Mink?
Yeah, it has to
Because he
probably.
destroyed their homeland, and now his punishment is to become their home.
Could be.
I think that makes sense.
Or like he did something to
Yeah,
endanger the Minks so they couldn't ever return back
Yeah.
home. And so now it's like
I-
he kind of harbors that.
By the way,
I think if you look at like where like under Emu, it kind of does look like a snout of an elephant a little bit. Did y'all notice that?
what's
Oh yeah, I see what you
Maybe-
mean.
maybe
I
it's a
see what you mean.
stretch. I don't know.
No,
it might
I-
be a stretch. I don't know.
There are some very intentional design choices with this stuff. Very
And then
intentional
with the
design.
I love
with the animals under, maybe that's like Zunisha is heavily associated with animals.
me. Okay, you see where we see the Noah and we see like some animals and some people walking. It reminds me of
Yeah.
Moses. Of Moses, like where he picked like animals.
Oh yeah.
You mean
It's-
Noah?
And Noah, I mean
Noah's
Noah. What
Ark.
is this?
Noah's Ark.
Noah, who went? Yeah, he picked animals to come with him. Like but I don't understand the angel wings though.
That's
Why
a
is there-
Skypian.
Yeah, but like, why just one and over there?
You want to know a theory that Ragnar has said? Shout out to Ragnar. But he basically said that the
Shout out
promised
Ragnar.
land for the fishmen is actually the White Sea, which is because if you look at the fishermen's dream, like their dream has always to be with the sun, right? But obviously they're fishermen, so they need to be somewhere close to the sea, and it's like the Skypians had actually stolen their land. Like they stole like the promised land, which is why the fishmen have to stay down in Fishman Island, where it's like they don't look like DC. Like Fishman Island is so deep, and they don't look like deep sea fish. And I've said this multiple times. Like Fishman Island isn't their home; it's where they were forced to go, which is why they need the sunlight and why they're basically encapsulated in this bubble down below. The White Sea was created specifically for the fishmen. The Skypians stole it, but eventually the Noah will bring them up, and that's why we see the Noah popping up there. The Noah will eventually bring them to the promised land.
That's interesting. I actually kind of like that.
That was like one of my favorite theories. Very quickly, we have another 50 peso super chat from D. Thank you so much, my dude. He says, I think Ox Lloyd was the ship beside Zunisha. Now, I actually I looked up. I'm not too sure what Ox Lloyd is. Do you guys, I look, because the only thing I could see was the Ox Bell, which is the bell that Luffy rang. I'm not too sure what the Oxaloid is, though.
Oh, speaking of oxes, do you remember like an hour ago when we were talking about the giraffe fruit? I just remembered that's what Viz and Funimation called it, the ox fruit model giraffe.
Mm-hmm.
And I
That's
think
so
that's a
weird.
translation error. It should be the bovine fruit model giraffe, which would almost slot it accurately into its category. Anyway, sorry. Just
No, you're okay.
No, interesting.
just occurred to me.
Oh, the Oxfloyd is a warship during the Void Century. Okay. All right. I'm down. I dig it. I will have to. I don't actually know what this is. When did we first see this? The Oxloid. Yeah, I don't really.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know what the
Nor
Oxloid.
have I.
Oh no, wait, hold up. The Oxloid.
One Piece goes so deep, man. I love this series.
Yo, who's the people who are on the ship behind the ancient giant with like a flag resembling a sun?
I think that that's either Arabasta or the Kuja going off the design. And we see people with top knots underneath them, and that's probably Wano.
Wano, right? Yeah.
When
What I
Luffy ran
love
out.
about all this is that the first world, the second world, the third world is this gets into other mythologies, because if you look at the cyclical nature of the world in stuff like Hinduism or Norse mythology, the world is constantly created and destroyed. And I just love that like Oda has brought this like multiple
I agree.
apocalypses have happened in the narrative.
No, this I think this is like probably one of the coolest things One Piece has ever done. Especially because the way
I
that
know,
these
right?
Harley
Honestly.
like the Harley texts are just formatted so beautifully, like it's poetry. It's literally like an epic where it's like they would not meet again. They would not meet again. Surely this time they will meet. Like
It's
this
like a prayer.
It's so awesome. It's
It
so
is like a
love it
prayer.
so much.
It is like a prayer. It's
Like it
it's
failed
so...
once, it failed twice. It's not gonna fail 3 times. Come on, like come on. Like, this is the
The third
hopes
the
of
charm.
everyone.
Neither time the charm. But yeah,
So
I was
after
gonna.
I read the chapter, I went on Twitter and I immediately was like, "One Piece is the greatest manga of all.
It's great. This is fantastic.
This
Like
is
That's good.
this,
peak fiction
the Void Century
incarnate."
is like insane. Like with all of the lore drops, like it is
What's
crazy.
cool about this is now that like the Void Century is just the second world. We've gotten like how expanded has the story become now? Because like I always thought, okay, we're gonna get the history of Joy Boy at some point, and that's gonna be like a friggin' 2 volume flashback. But now there's a flashback to the flashback because we've got like a backstory to the backstory of what
It's a
happened in the
prequel,
Void.
yeah, super
Yeah.
prequel. Maybe they could just make a whole series about that, like a whole new series.
Oh my god! Imagine if
The,
this was
the
like
first One
Oda
Piece.
setting up the spin-offs early, like Goofy.
Yeah, I would love that.
Boruto.
I would love a prequel series as opposed to a sequel.
It would be really cool.
That
Hopefully
would
we
go
get like a
crazy.
hopefully get just like a full arc of flashback. Honestly, that would just be the coolest thing. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it from our standpoint. Any final thoughts before we give our chapter rating and end this? Because we've been going for almost like actually we're over 2 hours right now. So
Holy smokes!
I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, wow.
Chapter rating,
Yeah, go.
10 out of 10. Absolutely fantastic. Oda has not dropped a chapter this good in quite a while. Let's go, Fizo.
I will concur. I think this is a 10 out of 10 chapter. It doesn't have too many scenes. It's not too stuffed. The lore drops are really satisfying. It kind of feels like this was in the background all along, but we're getting it now, and it's just so gratifying to see all the pieces come together. And yeah, I'm just super stoked because now Oda set up the pieces, and we can speculate and see how he plays with our expectations going forward. So 10 out of 10 for me. I love lore piece so much.
Awesome. Let's go Geo, and then we'll do Hime last. So Geo, what'd you think? How you rating it?
This is at 1,000 out of 10.
Nice. And then we
this
will
is peak
go
fiction.
to Hime to finish it off. Hime, give us your final thoughts and your
Um,
chapter rating.
Obviously also a 10 out of 10. I think that like you know what's crazy is that not only did we get this lore drop, but we also got like amazing like the mythical zone sword as well. You know, Shamrock, Loki,
Oh,
like
yes.
the whole chapter was cool. Like I feel like yeah, the last page is the most like craziest page. But like we've had like the puzzle in front of us, and now we're finally able to put the pieces together. So honestly, the whole chapter, not just the end of it, the entirety of it, I really enjoyed it.
No, yeah. But this was really good. We got people in the chat saying 10 out of 10 as well. You got a translator? I do translation myself. Oh, you're good, Joe. That's why we have Fizo on, because Fizo be
Oh, I love Joe. Joe is always in Par's chat, and we always get talking.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that's why I be having Fizo on for these really big ones. And then obviously shout out to Geo for popping by. We appreciate you, Geo. Even though
Of
you can't
course,
read,
anytime.
we love you.
Really nice to meet you,
Oh
Gio.
my goodness, what? I thought I
No,
beat
no,
that
you know,
candy
it's
alligator.
not Gio's fault. It's my fault. I made it too wordy.
No, no.
I'll
Uh,
take the
Was
fall.
I
It's
not
my
reading
fault.
good, actually?
but
It's all my fault.
thank you guys so much for being on. I appreciate it. I also appreciate you, Hime, being on, but you know that you're getting dragged to this regardless. So you have no
But I
free
mean,
will or choice.
I would never like miss this chapter.
Oh,
Like, are you
I
Yeah.
would
crazy?
never allow you to miss. Unfortunately, even if you were like somewhere else, I'd be like, get on your phone. Hime doesn't have free
literally.
will anymore, unfortunately, at all. But thank you so much to Fizo and Gio for popping on, and thank you guys
Thank you
so
for
much
having
in the
us.
chat. This has been amazing. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys next time. Peace, peace.
Bye.
Peace, peace.
Bye.